All right, guys, we are live from Zelix Ice House.
Come on in, man.
It is that time of the month. We are getting together with the I.r.o.n. group for the I.r.o.n. podcast here on the Dark Side of the Mic Network.
If they come over here, we get a bucket of Miller Lite.
Alfonso?
I'll start it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, James, for that intro, and thank you for hosting this good podcast here. And
I'm the director of membership. I don't know.
and first of all, I want to give a shout out to Zelix for being a great host for this venue. Zelix, who owners Seth and Chase Katz. Thank you for allowing us to have this place and being a great host, providing some beers for us. Can I say beer?
Yes.
Okay. Some beverages. But anyway, and here I've got me around the table. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Alfonso Cifuentes, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of I.r.o.n. And next to me, I have...
I'm Randy Bryan, and I'm apparently the Chief Technology Officer.
My name's Josh Paselk, and I'm just a great guy.
Yeah, I'm John Hardy, and I'm the official fish fan here.
Oh, right, cool.
That he is.
So Alfonso's predisposed. We just had some pizza delivered and some beer delivered. So he got up and walked over there
Hey, can we get
right in the middle of a podcast.
I'm sorry, man. There's
all
a
good.
lot of moving pieces here
That's
today.
right.
It's excitement. That's what it is.
So we've all introduced ourselves so far. At some point, we're going to get the general manager from Zelix come up here and tell everybody a little bit about their story, how this place kind of came to be, so on and so forth. But
I see you put his mic in a shot glass over there.
yep, I put his mic in a shot glass. I like the double mic. Yep.
You seem the type.
Come over here.
Yeah, we're a little disorganized today, but, like I said, it's all the excitement just coming out of here. And it seems like we were tied up for a while and finally let us loose. But we got a good group here. And again, we'll, like Josh said, we're going to have the owner come out here and just tell us a little bit about ice houses. That's the theme today, ice houses.
So,
Guys, There's a river before and after the storm.
So what's the difference from an ice house and a bar?
The ice, I guess. I don't know. That's a
I'm
good
not
question.
sure. Yeah, I'm interested to hear what he has to say about that.
Well,
When I think of ice house, I think more of, at a bar, people might be like going crazy, dancing on the table and all that jazz. But at an ice house, you're hanging out, you're just talking, having a few beers,
Well, I think.
But historically
speaking.
Yes, historically speaking. John, you want to hop in on that?
Elaborate, please.
John's from Tyler. He knows.
Well, I'm going to let John take because I don't know all the
I have a
exact.
feeling Josh will fill me in on the details.
Well,
I'm more of a big picture guy.
maybe we work together on it.
Josh is definitely the detail guy.
Sure, yeah.
Josh and I, if you want details, you talk to me and Josh.
Just from a novice point of view, I want to say ice houses kind of reflects more of an old traditional bar, I guess.
It's a real cool spot, man.
And air conditioning is for the weak, you know what I'm saying?
Right, man?
That's how we keep the New Yorkers out.
It's a bummer that the Mist machines are down on the day y'all chose to come, but
Oh, man.
yeah,
So-
man, we're used to working in the heat here. So
Same here.
So I've been around for about 13 years. I think Randy was telling me, were you on Planning and Zoning Commission back when they...
I was.
Were you?
Yeah, he was telling me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the original idea was to open up like a butcher beef shop, right?
Right, yeah.
And then the city turned it down?
I think that was the original.
Yes.
I don't know if that was Chase and Seth originally.
was,
It
it
was.
was.
See, I was 12 when all that was happening. So
Exactly.
I wasn't around.
Yeah, so they wanted to have a little, parking spots that had like an 8-foot fence between them.
Okay.
So you could park there, buy a steak in the butcher shop, fresh cut meat, and then go over and grill it right there.
Oh.
And just like a
That's not a
family
bad
hangout
idea,
place, a community place. It was a really sweet idea, but like I was saying earlier, in the green room, that the city shot it down.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they did because I'd be out of a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it turned out being something better for them,
Yeah,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, we might know the answer to this, just for the sake of the audience, you all have a hot rod out front every once in a while?
Yes, we
tell
do.
us about that story.
It's actually in the shop right now, but Chase and Seth, I mean, their whole lives, they've been in the cars, their father as well. and their father actually built that from scratch, I think with the help of Chase and Seth. It hasn't ran probably in 2 to 3 years, so they took it to the shop, and their shop, so they're kind of working on it and whatnot. But you can get on YouTube and find videos of Seth on 35 flying 70 with, like, it runs.
Really?
I've only been here once when it's been turned on and ran around, but I mean, that thing's cool. It's been in magazines. People take pictures in front of it. It's like, and all the parking up front, it's only classic cars, classic trucks, or motorcycles up front. So that's like kind of them playing into, you know, what we do with the classic cars, with the old mechanic shop and whatnot. So
Yeah, so that's one of the things I love about this place. You can roll up in your classic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do, and you see all types of cool vehicles here.
A couple of our regulars found this spot because they were into classics, and they're like, I can show off my whip, and now they've been coming here for 10, 12 years.
Have y'all ever done a car show here?
Yeah, we actually do. We used to, before COVID, have an annual motor show, and it was like a pretty big blowout event. We'd get, you know, permits for the street to kind of block off the street and have all the motor shows. It's been hard to organize since. We've had some smaller ones in this parking lot back here, but it's actually something we're looking to do in July, and we're setting up right now. Because again, I mean, they're very passionate about classics, and it just, you know, it fits the vibe well. It's a fun time. It's like a cool place for people to meet up in San Marcos. There's not a lot of that in San Marcos. I think more so in like Kyle and Buda.
Yeah.
You can find more of a classic scene. So yeah, tapping into that here in San Marcos is definitely something.
So, other question is, if anybody wants to be part of that, how would they get in touch with y'all?
So every time we do any event at all, whether it's classic car meetups, whether it's, you know, a queso cook-off, a chili cook-off, whatever it might be, I run our social medias, and we're on Facebook and Instagram, and we post about these things all the time. You know, there's sign-up sheets, there's flyers, what have you, and, you know, on Facebook, I'll message Buda Gearheads, I'll message Classics of Kyle, like different things like that for events we have going on here. But you can DM us on Instagram, Facebook, whenever. I'm on it 24/7. It's just Zelix on both. So we really keep that pretty updated about what's going on in here.
What's your favorite event that you all hold?
Favorite event? Man, as a guest, I love steak night. Working steak night's a little bit difficult.
So hold up.
Yeah, we were asking about that earlier. So
We
that's
need to have
still
steaks
happening?
next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell
Every
us
single
about
Tuesday.
that.
So every single Tuesday, 5 p.m., you know, we do a steak night, a steak plate. It's an $18 plate. It's 10-ounce ribeye, loaded baked potato, spring mix salad. I mean, the busiest one we've ever had, we did 230 steaks out of that food truck. It's all out of the food truck on the flat top. There's 3 dudes in there just kicking ass, taking tickets. Ticket time is like 30 minutes. It's nothing crazy. And, yes, everything's happening in the food truck.
So,
Hey, but you know, food is nice, but man, they got karaoke out here first
No.
and third Wednesday. Man.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
right there.
I mean,
Kenny karaoke.
There's something going on every night of the
well, the
week.
place has turned into definitely a community spot.
Yeah.
This year you had the Bobcat.
Back the Bobcat.
Block
Mhm.
party.
Bobcat.
Yeah, and that we actually got renewed
again.
again for that, and we're doing it again in September before the first home game, and it's going to be bigger this year. We have more of the street blocked off. We got permits for a bar on the street, not in our parking lot this time, so it's going to be really, really big.
that's going to be, I think that has potential to be one of the biggest soirees around.
I think our estimated head count based on checks and everything like that, we had at least 1,000 people throughout the entire day either come and go. So it was our biggest event to the date, and we're doing it even bigger this September. So
Did you all drone the event, this last
no,
one?
we didn't. We don't have a production team. We have barbacks and bartenders and managers. But,
I don't have the right permits.
yeah, and but that's something that the university will be tapping into. They saw how successful it was, so they're putting on like a big production this year.
Good.
They're going to capture a lot of video and kind of make it like we're hoping to get it every single year and make it kind of a tradition in the city. Because I mean the football team was great this year, and it's actually something to get behind. You know, Coach Kenny is a friend of ours and a friend of the bar, so we're trying to do as much as we can for them and show them some support.
Yeah, it's kind of turned into the de facto after party place in town.
Right? Yeah, that's kind of the plan, you know.
Yeah, great
Kinda
place.
taking it away from the
Great
college
place.
kids and giving it to everybody, not on the square.
Yeah, the square's it's got some character.
Yeah, it does. It does indeed.
And also, too, just kind of go off on a tangent a little bit. one of the things that we discuss with I.r.o.n, and it's important to us in all of our discussion, is the regionalism theme. Mm-hmm. We want to connect all the areas here, especially from Lockhart coming here. I just became aware today that actually when I was in Lockhart, a friend of mine that owns Big Dog Neon has a connection here with Zelix. He said, hey, you know what? I'll supply some of the neons I have here at your place. And very interesting neons, to say the least. But
you can't spoil them. You got to come in and see them. But funny story, actually, about 6 months ago, the neon in the men's room, the original one, it got stolen straight out of the men's room somehow, some way.
Sign or whatever.
Say it again.
The piss here sign or whatever. The piss
the other one.
Oh,
the other one.
The other one.
Yeah. They got stolen. They actually remade it for us.
I don't condone stealing neons. But
Dude.
If I did, that's a heck of a one to get.
It was a son of a to get or to deal with.
Yeah.
But somebody has that in their house.
What's that, John?
Did you not buy that?
What are you talking about? No, I
No
stole
wonder you
it.
bought it at a discount.
I stole it, dude.
All this time you told me you bought that.
No, I
Can we edit this later?
Is that not big enough to like notice? Is it noticeable to see somebody walking out with that, or?
So it was like 4 a.m. On the camera footage, you get somebody hopping the fence, and then we don't have cameras, at the bathroom, so we couldn't really see anything.
Sure.
But
That's weird.
we
No cameras in the bathroom. Come on,
we've
dude.
implemented some security, security
security
steps
measures.
To actually, be able to take that sign again.
Dang, I'll have to try harder next time.
So they came here specifically for that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Man.
I mean, I don't know what else you're gonna do
stop
here.
someone and
for.
get a neon sign out of the bathroom.
Right.
You seen anybody that
wording.
collects like rugs? You've seen people like, hey, can I get a shirt or whatever it is? Anyway, so we were back, kind of talking about the regionalism stuff. And the whole Back to Bobcats deal obviously was really steam-headed by Kelly and his wife. But the chamber had a big part to do with that. And those are the type of initiatives that we're talking around that really just help this whole city. It helps Zelix. Everybody's got a cool place to go. But more importantly, the culture of this town, we've got some catch-up to do.
Right.
And I'm just so glad that Zelix is here and we're able to do it. We were actually talking about doing next couple podcasts. We maybe head over to your all sister companies, if you will, maybe North Street or the pizza. What's the pizza stop?
Pie Society.
Pie Society, right?
Yeah. And I mean, we have another one on the way. We're opening up a bar in New Braunfels, Hunter Road Country Club. Yeah. It's so a bunch of things in the work, man. And what we try to do with each and every place. I mean, one, everything we do, it's all about the guests. It's all about the community. I know it may sound corny, but that's how we create this culture. That's how we stick around for 13 years, and that's how we play our part in the community. So, I mean, the way we hire, the way we treat our guests, like it's kind of what sets us apart, I would say, and it's what we all kind of take pride in. And I think it's the reason we have success and we have this place that we can host a podcast.
And that's one of the reasons we chose Zelix, because of this vibe, like I said, you have, and just a welcoming atmosphere that's here. But
Yeah, and the air conditioning.
yeah,
right.
For the AC.
the ice in the house.
Yeah.
I need
Nothing
my-
more Texan than sitting around sweating your ass off, drinking beer.
Yeah.
I mean,
look,
I don't know why we go indoors. We can sit outside.
right?
You
Yeah.
sweat a little bit.
Great.
It also
I love
makes you come up to the bar and get another beer from us.
Right.
Yeah.
10-4. So anyway, thank you for that history lesson, Griffin. We thank you again for being a gracious host, and we hope to keep hearing from you. And we'll, like I said, we'll definitely explore going to the other locations, your sister locations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thanks again to the Cats family.
Come out to a steak night.
for sure.
Yeah,
It's not going to be on a Wednesday, right? It's a Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Okay, all right.
Every Tuesday.
We'll make sure.
And I know I'll see you at karaoke.
Is that year round?
Yeah, we've been doing it for 3.5 years, never missed a Tuesday. So
Medium rare, nothing else, right?
it's whatever you want.
Hey, you know what? John brings up a very interesting point. You all should be a little snooty about it and be like, no, it's one steak. It's same price. It gets cooked the same.
Look,
Anything past medium, you just throw some
Yeah,
shit
what are
on
we
it.
doing? Yeah.
it's on a flat top, and we're pumping out 150 to 200, man. We try our best, but
So
a
rare
lot of
sounds
it's
good.
coming out about medium
That's
rare.
what's good about eating beef, right?
Tuesday nights are packed then.
Yeah, they're good nights. I mean, Monday night's a trivia night, and we have 100 people in here playing trivia. Wednesday nights, karaoke, live music. Thursday, like every night there's something going on. You really
go.
can't.
I'm gonna bring
Can't
that truck
miss
to
us.
the next one.
So
that's it. Yeah,
for all
you
you
got
out
a
there,
spot
all
in
our
front of
friends
that,
on
yeah.
Facebook Live and all the others, you got that invitation. Come on down to Zelix.
Absolutely.
Any
I
night you
appreciate
pick.
y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank y'all
Knuckle.
for choosing us. Hopefully we'll see y'all soon. If not at the block party.
There you go.
Oh yeah, we'll be back.
Yeah.
There you go.
Almost was here last night.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate
I
it.
just couldn't
Thank
follow
you so
John
much.
fast enough. All right, what else we got on this agenda here?
Well,
Hey, before we start digging into the list and stuff,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you guys. So, what made y'all? And we probably went through this before, but just so the viewers can get an understanding. What is the I.r.o.n. group, and why did you guys start the group?
that's a great question. So, I think I.r.o.n. originally the idea came from it's biblical, where iron sharpens iron, and I think that was the whole motivation for this group, because we see each other more on a professional level. We share a lot of boards, and I'll tell you what, it's a great dynamic. We get together, but there was never really some downtime for us, and have a platform where we can discuss openly our issues and things that we want to see in our communities. And so I.r.o.n. came about as just that, as a group of men to just kind of uphold each other, like iron sharpens iron, just like the Bible says, and a place where so we can feel safe and just, like, again, lean on each other for advice or even for correction.
Yeah. When
Sit down, man.
Well, yeah, it was a couple things that happened because everybody was meeting up to smoke cigars just for fun, right? As friends. And then I think there's some conversation that eventually ensued that talked about lifting each other up and holding each other accountable. And yeah. I love the lifting each other up and holding each other accountable, and that's where the name I.r.o.n. came up. Alfonso came up with the name, right? Well, actually,
and what's scary about it is just the way it just grew. I think we all look forward to it, right, John?
Yeah, it kind of grew organically for sure. And then, you brought up a good point. I think everyone up here has won. We've won Business of the Year. We've won Green Business of the Year. They won Large Business of the Year. They won Business of the Year. Green Business of the Year. Chamber president.
I give away the awards.
Give
for
away the
these
awards.
businesses
So,
that y'all win.
How much more fun can we have?
That's true. And,
it starts with the party.
And we have others in the audience. We got members out here in the audience that are not on the camera. We got Mr. David Case over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do have a guest that we've got, Miss Morgan Hammer over here. That we have.
We're going to bring her on in.
We have a
Come on
nice
in.
question.
Here you go,
We'll
Morgan.
squeeze her in. Come on, squeeze her in.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome, Morgan. Welcome to our little show. And we were just going over kind of the creation of this group. It started out as a cigar club, but we realized not everybody smokes cigars, and I think it was just a camaraderie of us discussing, life issues and just kind of throwing things out there. And what I like about this group, Morgan, is, and everybody here,
Yeah.
this is a group of doers. So whenever we bring up some solutions, there's that real possibility that we're going to get on something and make some things happen. But want to welcome you first of all to our show and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. You guys are
I was
saving.
leading up to that.
Who are you?
Mr. Microphone.
Who are you?
Y'all are saving the world one cigar at a time. My name is
good
Morgan
one.
Hammer. I'm running for county commissioner here in Hayes.
Hammer for Hayes.
Hammer for Hayes 2024. And I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones. So all I do every day is stocks, bonds, 401ks, those types of things.
It's better than talking trash, I'd say that.
That's true. It's better than smoking cigars, Just kidding. But I would say the main thing that I want to get across and make sure people understand is to be informed. I feel like there's a lot of voters that are uninformed and a lot of people that have no idea what's going on in county politics from a county to a regional to a city perspective, and it's just important to know the people that are behind these positions and what they stand for and what they do on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of people don't even know what a county commissioner does. County commissioners, they control the financial budgets for the county. So,
Wow.
they are the financial advisor for the county. So, I think it's just good and important to know what's going on in our world, whether you live in North Dakota to Texas.
Commissioners aren't just on Batman.
That's police commissioners, but close. You can call me Commissioner Morgan, though. I'm
right,
cool with
yeah.
that.
Gordon
It's
Morgan
got a
was
nice
the
ring
difference.
to it.
Yeah, right?
So Morgan, how
Yeah.
did you get into the position where you were like, I think I'm going to run for commissioner? What happened? How'd that go down?
So it was something, Jude Prather, he's city councilman, and he told me when I told him, hey, if there's any way I can get involved in politics, that's always something I've wanted to do, being a public servant, serving your community, and just being that type of person is my personality. And so he told me I couldn't do anything in the city because I live outside city limits, which I was pretty bummed about. And then I guess he got the call to run for county commissioner because Lon Shell was no longer running. And instead of saying, yeah, let me think about it, he just gave me a call and said, hey, I want you to run for this. I said, I have no idea what that even entails. So it was sitting down with Lon Shell, going over everything. I mean, it makes sense from where I am as a financial advisor to do something in that realm for the county, and it's like I said, serving the public. That's what you want in your politicians. You want someone that's going to go out, and if you have an emergency at 2 a.m., who's going to be out there first? And I think that all the politicians should be racing to get there first, but they're usually not. So it's just something I wanted to see a change in politics right now. I mean, that's like something no one wants to talk about.
Well, and for those of y'all who are watching this who don't know Morgan, she definitely does walk the walk and walks the walk. I mean, she's involved in a program, I think it's called Mission Able, right?
Mission Able, yes.
Yeah, tell us
Yes,
a little
sir.
bit about that and about your huge win that Mission Able just got
Yeah.
for some funding, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
What's all that
I'm the vice president of the Mission Able board. Mission Able is a nonprofit that does home restoration for low-income families within San Marcos and really just our general community. But recently, San Marcos had some COVID funds that were pretty much going to just go back to the federal level if they didn't use them. So they were trying to figure out how to use these in the best way possible. And what we did is we pitched them giving us the funds. So they split it between Mission Able and Project Triage. And what Project Triage does is they do home restoration for veterans. So it's kind of the same type of industry, but yeah, we got $400,000 from the city of San Marcos to spend within the qualified census tract of San Marcos. So
That's fantastic.
That is crazy. I was at that city council meeting when they went through, and everybody was just like hooting, hollering. It's pretty cool to see. And speaking of restoration, she goes to church at First Baptist. They recently had to get some restoration done too. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but anyway, that's really cool. What else are you involved in?
yeah, so Mission Able is such a good cause, and we do great work. But I'm also involved in the San Marcos Young Professionals. I'm the chair of that organization. It's something that I've been a part of for a very long time. It kind of faded out with COVID, and whenever Justin Payne and everybody wanted to bring it back, I was all here for that. And it's been great to see the transformation between old San Marcos Young Professionals and new. Not saying like they're older. I'm saying
that's how life
that
works. They
the
are
old
older.
it's all right.
organization.
I'm
get it.
definitely, and on his way, but maybe.
Yeah, no, you're old for sure, dude.
Not y'all.
100%.
What's the cutoff for that San Marcos professional?
So it used to be 40, and I said
58 now?
it's actually 45. I made sure that it went up to 45 because I do think when you're 41, 42, you're still young.
Yeah.
You're
At
still
least
not,
at my,
you know.
at my
Heck
age,
yeah.
I think
You're
so.
only as young as
Oh,
you
real young.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that
So,
mean-
you know,
yeah.
40, 45 is the new 35. So, and as we progress as the humankind and we live to be older, we need to adapt.
Yeah, we do.
So,
You're
Let
never
me know
too
when you
old.
start adding guys in that are 58.
okay, that sounds good. That might be, you know, I might be pushing it a little bit. I might get some pushback from the board on that one.
Yeah, you guys are on the board thinking about it. You know, people are older now. They're living longer. We really need to up this.
Up. I mean, let's go by percentages. You know, the average age is what, 85, 86.
When we do our retirement planning, we always plan for 90.
All right, so 45 is middle aged.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's young.
But yeah, so it's when I say transformation between the old and the new, I mean it's incredible to see this organization pick up 8 years later, and everybody's new, like new faces everywhere, right? It's not the same people that kind of followed and started it up again. It's all new people, and people are coming from Austin, San Antonio to check us out. So it's been good.
And Morgan, for what I've seen, somebody that comes from outside of San Marcos, from what I've seen from the Young Professionals organization, it seems to be an incubator. Incubator for future leadership, and I think that's the intent, right? And it's very evident. And one thing that you touched on was about, part of your reasons for running for commissioner is just your I guess your responsibility of, giving back to your community, and that's what I.r.o.n. in a sense is about. And I'd be remiss if we didn't ask you a question.
Yeah, of course, go for it.
Tough question. So I'm going to go off our script here. So I want to ask you.
She's probably going to be the commissioner, just FYI.
All right. Well, good. That's perfect
Make
timing.
it a damn good one before she can retaliate later.
And so you are familiar with most of the faces here of I.r.o.n., right? I think you know everybody here about in our involvement in the community and different organizations. So my question to you is, how can I.r.o.n. be an influencer here in the region? And more specifically, what you think needs attention?
Okay. So what I think I.r.o.n. can do is we're in the fastest growing county in the U.S. I mean, we have been within the last 5 years. And what I think you guys can do is spread the word of why San Marcos, and not just San Marcos, but Hays County in general. I mean, eventually it's going to be Austin to San Antonio, and we're in between that,
Lockhart.
Right? And Lockhart, and Lockhart. Lockhart's important too, but it's really just driving all of the growth we're going to be seeing. But we need good jobs here. We need building, office spaces and people coming here and starting. I know people don't want growth, is not something people want most of the time, but I mean, it's inevitable. If it's inevitable, so let's make sure we're making the right educated decisions. Exactly, and be proactive so we don't end up like Austin. I think Austin did not do their infrastructure justice. And I mean, getting to and from a place, every time I have to go to Austin, I regret going there. And it's awful.
Take Loop 1.
Take the loop that does no loop.
They should have put in that rail, man. When they had that up about 15 years back, they should have just done it.
Yeah, so I think it's just making sure that we're learning from others' mistakes, and we're making sure that we're not going in that direction. But I think that spreading the word of what Hays County, San Marcos, Lockhart, all of this, the in-between of Austin and San Antonio has to offer. Because we've got a lot.
The growth and the expansion is coming, whether people want it or not.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of, the train's coming to town. You need to build around it or get run over by it. Mm-hmm. And, we've got to find a way to get out. Got to be out there and, building the town around it and not just wait for it to come run us over.
Exactly. And if you
hey, Brian, you want to turn your mic on? Yeah. There you go.
How long has my mic been off?
We don't like listening to you anyway.
We didn't want to tell you, but now's the time.
I was like playing it out.
You look at a city like San Antonio, and they've got loops around loops around loops, and their growth is growing. They're doing pretty good with their growth down there, and it's not, the traffic's, it's like every city, it's bad, but it's not like everything else around here. It's relatively good traffic for a large city.
Well, and Lon said it beautifully one time. Lon Shell, he's the current county commissioner who is endorsing me to step into his role. He says a lot of people complain and they throw up their arms and they don't want development. They don't want any, look at the bridge on Wonderworld. That wasn't there not too long ago. And the amount of workaround you had to do to be able to go there and the traffic that it would have created. Now that it's there, we don't know life without it.
The NIMBY.
But what?
The NIMBY.
Not in my backyard.
I'm familiar with those.
But yeah, so that's a perfect example of it needed to be done, and people complained about it. People were not happy that there was so much development going on right there, but I love it now. I use it almost every day.
There's no way that traffic Bishop would have survived.
No, not at all.
Like Bishop was the highway.
For real.
Yeah, and they did Purgatory, the natural preservation justice.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. They did a great job with it.
I ride my mountain bike out there pretty regularly, and it's
Where's Justin? I think
really
he rides his
cool
mountain bike
how the highway goes over the top of all of it. But I was going to say, you hit the nail on the head. It's, if you try to avoid the growth, you have to get out in front of it. You get out in front of it, you can create a nice community with nice amenities and nice things. But if you try to stop it, you get like you said, you get run over by it. And that's what's going to happen if we don't get out in front of it. We're going to get slammed by it. It's going to be horrible.
What's funny about all this is an old narrative. You know, if you really want to talk about what we're saying today, we're saying the same thing we were saying 15 years ago.
20 years ago, 30
years ago. I went
changed.
and watched Will Conley speak one time at a Wimberley Chamber event, and his exact words were exactly what we're saying today. He says, you know, if you fail to plan, it's coming out of the way.
Yep.
You know, those were his exact words. So this
Josh,
is a
when do we
consistent-
get? I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah, go
your
ahead.
thought, but so when do we get past that narrative, right? When do we just stop talking? And,
Well, I'll tell you what.
get
One way to
involved?
get past that narrative is to get. I'll talk specifically to San Marcos. San Marcos needs to get out of the way of progress. I'm sorry, dude. You know, we're going to hoot and holler over what type of grocery store, where it's going to go, when. It's like everybody's got too much time to talk about a singular road coming in. I was like, dude, we are between Austin and San Antonio. Get your head out of your ass. Like
It's coming.
It's really coming. Mm-hmm. And so they're making all these adjustments on the roads and everything. So for me, I think it would go a long way if the city of San Marcos could step up to the plate and get some stuff done, dude.
Yeah.
Jude's, you know, he's stepping down from council, I think. I don't know. I don't know for sure, but
Oh, yeah.
is he?
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I think he's kind of done.
Yeah, maybe he might be done. But I'm watching him, and what I love about watching about city councils leaving city council is they really start saying things that they feel.
Oh, yeah.
So he's up there and he's like, we need grocery stores. Anybody watching this tonight, we need a grocery store. Please come in.
Don't worry,
Whole Foods, H-E-B. He said that literally on the diet.
Trader Joe's.
Trader
Trader
Joe's.
Joe's. Call on Trader Joe's.
We made more space for parking. They got rid of the car wash and the gas station, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is he says it out loud, and all of a sudden, I think we're getting a grocery store.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's just because he said that one
Buc-ee's?
time. No, not Buc-ee's. Yeah.
It's the
not a grocery
consistency
store?
of the messaging that
Yeah.
we're trying to get across.
But you got a bunch of
That's
people on
what I
the-
was getting to.
Yeah, you got people on the dais that need to work together on behalf of the city. Or, excuse me, how about this? I'm not saying that the people in the dais are doing a bad job. How about the people who really care need to start stepping up?
Well, I think there's your answer there.
Yeah.
It's this happens all the time. You know, it's an 80-20 rule. You know, there's 20% of the people doing all the work. Well, it's like 20% of the people making all the noise are also making all the decisions.
That's right.
Because
Yeah.
that's who you know, council, county,
I
all that's
mean,
who's listening to is the 20% that are making
You
the noise.
see it time and time again. The people that are constant, you're like, oh my gosh, they just keep being a dead horse, but they make
They're winning.
progress. They
They're there.
get it done.
They're there.
If they consistently keep on with their messaging, they make a point.
They're embracing the process.
How about
Yeah.
this? Who here knows who LMC is? I'm doing this
I know
just,
now.
just to make a point.
I mean, I do.
I
Shows
don't.
up to every single city council meeting, the gal, Lisa Marie Capoletta. And I'm bringing up her name for one purpose, because she's a wonderful example of consistency over time. I don't know if you want to agree with what she says or she doesn't. That's not what we're talking about. What I'm saying is her consistent. She's just persistent. Every single meeting, nonstop, shows
On
up,
every
shows up,
single
shows up, on every single
message.
issue.
That's the playbook,
On
right?
message.
I
That's
mean,
the
that's
playbook.
the playbook.
So we want to make some change.
Oh, did she come up on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if we want growth, well, who's our Lisa Marie Capoletta? Pro growth. Who is that person? Who's going to show up and put in that time? She's
Maybe
not
that's a
getting paid.
role that I.r.o.n needs to fill.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to move it. Well, let's,
And putting people in the position to get up on your on your podcast and speak on these issues on a consistent messaging and bringing in different
that's right.
viewpoints.
Yeah. Just get people talking. Stop thinking it so much in terms of the political nature of things, i.e., left, right, blue or red. But it's like, I'm Josh. You're Morgan. Nice to meet you.
I heard
Want to talk? Figure it out.
doing a past podcast with Alfonso and the guys over there down in Lockhart, and he said something that really stuck with me is, kind of like what I hear is happening here in San Marcos is also happening in Lockhart is the growth, and people are all pissed off because we're known as like a small city that's known for barbecue, but we're starting to get known for a lot more than that. and something that was said was you want the growth to be directed by the people of the community, meaning like you don't want like outsiders from Austin or wherever to come in and direct the growth from Lockhart, because the people from the community know what's best for Lockhart. I mean, you know, how do you guys feel about that? You know, like,
Well, it's kind of funny, the difference between San Marcos and Lockhart. They've all these cities have been around for quite some time, and most people, you know, just don't like change in general.
for sure.
So I get that, but what it comes down to is a history of decision making in a certain area.
And we want to say goodbye to Morgan.
Morgan's
here.
out.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
I'm
much.
sorry, guys. I'm gonna go find my husband, and my daughter are here.
She has to
so.
go run a
you're good.
campaign.
Hey, thanks
Hey.
for dropping in.
Thank
Bring
you very
another
much.
gal up here, whoever it is. We need.
Okay, I'm gonna tap in another girl.
Come on.
Justin.
Tap in Julie.
We need girls. Liz. Okay. You
Hey,
don't
wanna-
want to eat on camera?
I want to quote Mark Twain.
Heather, bye. I literally came in. I was like,
Mark Twain said the only people that like change are
There
a baby
she
with a
is.
dirty
Hi,
diaper.
Mariah.
There she is.
Hi.
How's it going?
What up, yo? It's good to see you.
We just went off. Turn off.
What? Wait, what?
What's up? Oh,
Oops.
Wow. We're a lot.
fine.
We're doing a lot better than we were a second ago.
Hey, so Josh,
Yes.
did you hear my quote from Mark Twain?
No.
I got
The
it. It was
only
just
people
disconnected.
that like change are babies with dirty diapers.
That's Mark Twain quoted that.
Yeah.
That's
James,
the weirdest thing I've heard in a long
I don't even
time.
know. I don't think they had diapers back then. That's
I
a
love
crazy
it.
thing.
So I want to elaborate on that thought you brought up, right? Since you brought up Lockhart, right? So that's exactly right. We were going through a similar phase, Josh, as San Marcos. It's just that we were resistant to change, and so what had to be done, right? We could do, and sometimes, which is why I'm so adamant to be involved in some of those organizations, is sometimes you have to be a bowling ball. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to just go in there and shake things up, and you know sometimes it creates enemies. But more times than not, it wakes up a lot of people to change that's happening,
Yeah.
and it gets it attention, which is the first step. And then next thing is surround yourself with doers and people that are willing to get out there and make things happen. And I can
Right.
name you several efforts that we've done through that. The ACC campus effort is one
Yeah.
that I like to think of. The Education Foundation for Lockhart Independent Schools. Several that it takes people to be doers, and I think that's what's important about this I.r.o.n. group. Is that we surround ourselves with doers. But anyway,
Real quick, let's introduce the
that's what
couple
I was.
gals here. You're gonna do it?
I was building up to that.
Oh
Josh.
God, that was good, Alfonso.
All right.
You're
And
the
so,
guy.
Speaking of change and coming in and sometimes being a bowling ball, I want to introduce here our guest. Better that, I'll let you introduce yourself, Mariah, and tell us a little bit about yourself. And thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much for the invite. My name is Mariah Dunn. I am the proud owner of Stinky Dog, and I'm just so honored to be here. I mean, this is really cool. Y'all's mission and motto, and what y'all are trying to create. I mean, I personally have not seen or heard anything like that, especially in this area. And just bringing a group of like-minded individuals together, that's pretty epic. So
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful to be here.
I can't hear you.
4 years in a row. I mean, I'm not counting or anything.
So wait, hold on.
but,
John's mic isn't on. Yeah, it's not on. Anyway, so John was saying that you were small business of the year?
No, emerging business of the year, right?
Emerging
Oh,
business of the
emerging
year.
business of
Yeah,
the
I think that
year.
we're the year
Yes,
that we won.
2021.
This year you won emerging business of the year, right?
Yes. Yes.
Congrats.
Thank
How is the
you.
dog business going?
Oh my God, guys, it is
Still
rough.
stinky?
Pun intended.
I got one that won't stop itching. I need to bring him to you.
Was,
Say that again.
I got one that won't quit itching. I need to bring it.
Oh
bring
my
it over there.
gosh. Well, the stinkier, the itchier, the better.
Yeah.
Ruby's about to find herself a new home if she'll quit itching.
So, right, you own your own business,
See.
and you are now on Planning and Zoning Commission. Is that correct?
Congrats.
Correct. Thank you.
How you liking your time there? How's it going?
You know,
Tell us a little
what?
bit about it.
I guess I think I have a gluttony for punishment, because what's the saying? If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm the type that needs a challenge. Where are you going?
Where are you
now?
going?
Hey,
You're next in
No,
line.
we're getting to ya.
Get over here.
Let's
You're about to
Oh,
get
she's
it.
in the sun. That's why. Scoot over a little bit, man.
Oh yeah, come on.
Okay,
here.
I've only
here.
got about 6 more inches.
Excuse
Small
me?
business owner over there with a haircut business.
Sorry, were you burning up? Is that what it was? She was hot.
There you go. Sorry about that, Julie.
Do I need to scoot
Oh,
over
yeah,
even
Julie
more?
over there, Julie Darst.
All right, so
Yeah.
Mariah was talking about glutton for punishment. We're out. Who's up next?
Julie Darst.
Julie.
I work
Hi,
at
Julie.
Hi. I work at Olivia Presley. We are a hairstyling company,
Okay.
and I've been doing hair here in San Marcos for about 12 years.
So hold on. Do you do men's cuts, women's cuts? Tell us a little bit something, because
I do men's cuts, women's cuts,
Really?
highlights.
Anything
I didn't
in
know
between,
that.
Josh.
Really?
And anything in between,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Anything. Okay. And where do you cut hair at?
I work at Olivia Presley.
Where is that though?
So it's right up on Ranch Road 12.
That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
We're located right in front of an apartment complex, kind of in between Chepo's and...
I've
that
seen
building
that.
that they renovated
Yes.
and built.
Nice.
That's
Yes.
where you work?
Yeah.
It's right by my house. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
get my hair done there.
Come
Sorry,
on
Brian.
over.
Tell Brian Olson.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Brian.
Thanks,
there's
but
a
no
thing there.
thanks.
The
Yeah,
other
Brian.
one bites the dust.
He
Dude.
should have been here, right?
I just
But
lost
he's at
my
the lake.
hairstylist over there.
That's right.
I'm crushed, dude.
No,
How
they
long
do
have
a
you
great
been
job
working
over
there?
too.
So we opened that location in 2021.
Okay, and you've been there since?
Since then, it's the same owner as Monroe Hair Studio,
Okay.
and I worked there for about 10 years before.
Really?
So
You got a
same
solid
owner.
book of business.
Matt, I got
Our
a new
sister
hairstylist,
location.
dude. I'm so happy right now.
I retired mine. You can have it.
So, so we have our guests here. I want to ask a question to both of y'all, since y'all are, y'all have a tremendous life experience, and I'm sure y'all have the answers. So one of the questions we have is, and you mentioned some of this growth that we're having here in this region, and it's an explosive growth, right? Like we've never seen before, all the way from Lockhart to up to Austin and down south. So one of the questions is, how long can the region sustain the explosion of growth in the area with regards to the natural resources like water and what have you? So what do
That's
you
a
think?
banger right there.
Yeah, that's a pretty serious question.
Yeah, Mariah, do you like water? You know anything about it?
I mean, who doesn't like H2O?
No, that's a tough
That's
one.
a tough one. I mean, to be honest,
Do you want to come back to that one?
yeah, let's maybe change the.
We
All
definitely
right.
need some more
Okay,
growth.
all
Yeah,
right.
What was the question about water?
yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not a
no,
water-
Natural
with
resources.
The natural resource. How do we deal with that?
And basically, how long can our area sustain the growth? The reality is we'll figure out a way. And it's either we're going to stay in front of it and we're going to do amazing, or we're going to try to bury our heads in the sand and it's going to bury us.
Well, that's it. It can sustain it forever, but you have to manage it and be prepared
Yes.
for it, and to be embracing the change, embracing the journey, and not just, wow, man, I can't believe this happened. Like we all know this is coming.
And one
It's
thing
you
that
sit around and you don't do anything. Then you not, I had a boss who's telling me, he said, when did Noah build the ark? Before the flood.
That's right. It wasn't raining.
Good point.
It wasn't raining when Noah built
He
the
got
ark.
made fun of for that.
Yeah, he did.
I have seen some interest in desalination projects, and other kind of innovations that to help deal with the water issue. So maybe that's
we had somebody come and talk on this the other day from the GBRA at Rotary, who John is the ex-president of Rotary, by the way. Divided guy.
Immediate past president would be the
Is that
correct
is that what you say?
Emeritus or
Immediate
something like that.
I've never been a president of anything. But anyway.
You're the president of the Josh Spazell thing.
That's right. I am lead prez of myself. Now, the gentleman from the GBRA came through, and specifically here in this area, we do pump water in from Canyon Lake. And Canyon Lake is currently at 59% capacity.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
very low.
I think
That's
it's 20-something feet low right
More
now.
than
it's
half,
disturbing.
less than 60.
and dropping.
So GBRA is currently working
Yeah, well,
on.
it's in the right places.
They're currently working on a pipe project to bring water all the way from the coast up through Seguin to get more water in this
With a
area.
desalination plant, that would be lovely with solar.
Yeah, with solar, yeah.
Let the sun pay for it.
Let the
For
sun
real.
pay for it, yeah. No, but realistically,
Go
it's
solar.
water's getting kind of scarce around here.
And you ask anybody, that's the number one concern that comes up with
Yes.
development.
Yeah. Well, realistically, there is a lot that we could do just from construction habits, flushing toilets, running sinks, stuff like that. So, I'm from El Paso, Texas. There's no water there. And y'all have maybe heard of the Rio Grande River that comes through El Paso.
I've heard of it.
It's more like the stream.
If you were going to go to the Rio Grande, you'd realize that there's no water in it. There's really none. And in El Paso, you can't get water without a permit. Like, you got to jump through hoops to get any water over there because there is no water. So could we take those types of actions around here? Absolutely.
Well, I'm against any of that.
100%.
Something that people don't realize is about 1/3 of all water is lost in the water systems of the cities.
Correct.
So they could do a better job of
Interesting.
Well, you look at like
bringing the water, and then we can increase our water supply just like that if we could do it.
Yeah.
There's a company out in Wimberley that a lot of people know of that they just pay the fines and they don't fix their lines, and like you said, the majority of their water is lost in the system, and it's cheaper just to pay the fines. They're over pumping the permits, they're doing all that sort of stuff, and and I think there's another number that goes with that, a large number that it goes to runoff and lawn.
Yeah, a lot of water runoff.
Something
even
as
with
simple as a rain capture system, right? I mean, something that we can do individually.
Yeah.
I mean, just anything to help.
Well, I would
help
tell
conserve.
you, I have a pool, and I've got 5,000 gallons worth of rainwater collection, and last year I did not have to use my water hose to top my pool off until mid to late August, just collecting rainwater,
Yeah.
And I have to run my water hose with the sun in the summertime. It's about an hour a week to keep it level, but with that rainwater, I don't have to do that for maybe a month.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All summer.
Yeah, so small things here and there, but long term, God, I wish so none of us are really experts on this, obviously, but we ought to have the gentleman out from GBRA and just talk about some water sometime.
That's a good point.
Hey Josh,
We will.
even with that,
And-
I feel like talking about like a potential project to bring water in from the coast. I feel like people would be like, "Oh, what are y'all doing? Like, how is this gonna work?" And it goes back to like we're talking about people are kind of like to change. They really don't want change. You know what I mean? But do you think maybe it comes from maybe like a lack of trust in like your city officials or whatever, maybe that they're not looking out for
It's a lack
the
of
best
knowledge.
interests?
Those types of issues exacerbate existing issues, right? Because humans are distrusting in nature, right?
Yeah.
We've all lied. We've probably all stolen, right? Like we're just that way. So we're looking for reasons to not
Signs from
to not
restrooms.
trust people, and then you bring in politics and the style of communication through social media, etc. It's just all blown up. So it's really hard to tell what's up. What's up is up, and what's down is down. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I think what we need to do as a community is just to surpass all that. Is just be the bowling ball, like Alfonso said. It's like if you know something that needs to be done, and it's the right thing to do, you just need to do it. Who cares what people say? It is what it is. And just do it. How you do it also matters, right? Like,
But there is that overhang of the legacy. I think that has a lot to do with it. People just, through generations, just been accustomed. And I use Lockhart as an example. For many years, they wanted to be this island. And everything from politicians to, some of the city staff. I mean, that was keeping it down to this little piece of heaven that we had. Keep all growth out, but as things happen, growth comes whether we like it or not. So finally, some of us got in front and said, hey, look, we got to be proactive. We got to do something, even if it's educating, like John said, educating the people. And that's what it takes. It takes people just quit talking about it and get out there and, be proactive, man.
People don't know what they don't know.
Thank you, sir.
I've almost
David, we'll have to get a sub here in just a second.
Hey, Fonzo,
Yeah.
with talking to you and the guys from Lockhart over there, I kind of almost take offense when people are like, "Oh, the barbecue capital," and I'm like, "We're so much more than that now, and we're trying to become so much more than that."
We have a beautiful landfill.
Yeah.
We know people need to talk about that.
Environmental part.
Hey, David.
But you're right. You're right, and I guess it's a victim of our own success, right? I mean,
sure.
it's.
Bruce over here.
But the beauty of it is that all these tourists, I think we get like 1 million tourists or something every year that come through there for barbecue and what have you.
Wow.
And you're right. I think it's about something expanding even more. And that's what the regionalism is so important to I.r.o.n. is barbecue is great down there part of the country, but we got other things. And fortunately, some of these guys went down there and experienced the town a little bit, and that's why we're here in Sellex today. You know, there's a lot of beauties in our region that we can have, and a lot of things that we can share, and also too the collaboration between these efforts that we have. I mean, that's.
So I got a good question. Everybody sitting here at this table, we've all got aspirations to help, right? Move the ball forward a little bit. Randy, what are you working on right now? You got anything that you think that you could bring to the table to help push the ball forward? For instance, and I'll give you a good example for me. I have considered running for some type of office, right? I'm not saying that would happen or not, but what can we do as individuals to really jump in and help? What organizations can we be part of? So on and so forth.
I mean, there's a lot there. So several of us are in Rotary. Several of us are in Lions Club. Thank you, sir. That's one way. Also, we're trying to do some partnerships with. Sorry. No, it's all good.
Musical beers.
Well, can we all agree that it's really hard to talk when everybody else at the table is like,
yeah, it is,
like
man.
Squirreling?
Yeah.
Like when somebody's talking, we all just be like, okay, Randy.
Right, exactly.
Because every time somebody talks,
dude, no. So I had texted in a chat that we needed fresh beers, and he was just making sure we had fresh beer. No, but also, I think as businesses we can also work with the high school and local community to get more people in and get more people involved potentially in what we do. So right now I'm like in cybersecurity, managed IT. There is a shortage of like 600,000 cybersecurity professionals. So if we could get 10 kids from the high school a year to head into a cybersecurity profession, within like 2 or 3 years, they could be making six figures.
Can I be the owner?
And, sure.
Didn't
I wanna be the
San
president.
Antonio
That's
just
right.
like announce they were opening some cyber school or?
Yes, so San Antonio's been trying to position themselves, I think since about 2015, as a cybersecurity like capital of the world, if you will. But there's still that shortage. And so you're saying like, what can we do? So, you know, we can get involved in things like Rotary. I served on the P&Z for 6 years and 3 months. And I've been away like 8 years. I'm ready to come back probably now that I've had some recuperation time.
Do it.
But,
I know somebody's going to abandon their seat.
But also, you know, getting people involved. My headphones are totally gone. I don't know what happened to them, man. I think they got sweaty.
Good. Yeah.
But anyway, getting young people involved in professions and encouraging them. I noticed that he actually had that as one of our talking points for today. Is, you know, how can we get young people in the community that aren't planning on going to college necessarily? You know, how can we get them plugged into different professions?
It's like everything else in life. You get what you put into it. You join an organization. You go. You work wherever you work. The more you put into it, the more you can get out of it. You're in class. The more you participate in class discussion, the more you get out of it. The more you join a group, the more you get involved in it, the more you get out of it. You get into a city, the more you get involved in it, the more you get out of the city. It's all about involvement. It's all about you give what you get what you put into it.
Hey,
so true.
There's like this whole like movement with like the influencers and all of that stuff, and they're like there's this whole like thing where it's like you don't need college, you got YouTube, you got the internet and stuff. Do you think like going into the cybersecurity profession, do you think that college is necessary for that field?
So that's a really great question. I'm just going to go right out there and say some controversial things probably. You know,
everyone needs to go to Harvard.
Yeah, most of us at this table, we know the president here at Texas State. He's an amazing person. He's really trying to do great things. At the same time, though, you know, I do see the value, of course. I've tried to encourage all my kids to go to college. You know, I see the value of college. But also at the same time, you could literally get a certificate, like your first year out of college in cybersecurity, get a 2-year internship, and like, so you probably at 3 years, you're going to get a job where you're just looking at like data that comes across. It's the worst thing in the world. But after a couple of years and you've got that experience under your belt and you really start to see the big picture, you're worthy of a six-figure income in a field that has a huge shortage of people to get involved.
So the whole thing, you know, when you're in your 20s, the goal should be to find a place you can work that will give you skills, that teach you, and like, you know, it's not to go be the CEO of the company when you're 20.
Right.
Yes, people have done that. Absolutely.
Yep.
But the ones that really make, like, if you talk to people that are successful, they go back and they're like, dude, when I was in my 20s, I had this boss. And I can tell you, I had the same story. Like, my first real boss when I was in my 20s, he gave me lots of opportunity. He taught me. He's like, he was looking for mentorships when you're 20. You're not looking for the high rise on Fifth Avenue. You know, and I think people got to, you know, and that's, I think, when you get all these social media stuff and, you know, all they see are these, you know, these one-offs. It's like, it's no different than like, dude, I'm going to be a pro athlete. You could be, yeah, absolutely. But the chances of you being a pro athlete are about this big.
Like 1 in a million.
You know, the chance of you know, being the next Jeff Bezos is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, the guy started a bookstore, you know, obviously I'll drop out of college, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I went to a presentation, it's been a couple years ago, and it's kind of back to your trade school thing. You know, here in San Marcos, Coast Flight School, they did a really cool graph, and they talked about it, and, you know, and they're working with the high school here, I believe. And they have a program where you can come out of high school with your pilot license. You know, that's pretty darn cool.
It's pretty cool.
And they showed a graph. And you know what? People who come out of high school with a pilot license will make more money over their career than a doctor or a lawyer.
That's insane.
And you know why? Because you ask any of these doctors and lawyers, especially doctors, they're not really making any money until they're like their mid-40s.
Yep.
So,
And they get a bounce out of all the debt.
yeah, and so that when you come out to the flight program in the trade schools, your income is going like this, and it just goes nowhere but up. When you go through, you get those big heavy debts, you're like this,
Yep.
just in the nosedive.
Yeah,
And by
so-
the time you catch your quip, you're going up. You're in your 30s, maybe 40, and you're still going.
Yeah, there's nothing like kicking off your life and your family and your kids or whatever that family life looks like to you with just a fat wad of debt, you know, 100K. You're like, hey, all right, we're good to go now, you know. And we've talked about this every time on the podcast, but people used to go to college because that was the separator.
It was a guarantee.
It's like not everybody got to go to college. Not everybody could afford to go to college.
I went to college and
40,000 was a lot different.
certificate school, so I've been to both.
Did you?
I
Really?
have, yeah.
Yeah, I love licenses, man. I want to
Yeah.
get a license on everything.
Yeah.
I just love learning, but
I have a business degree in accounting, and then I went to hair school, so I can do
God.
both. I mean, I have friends that went to business school with me, and I would say, like, depending on, like, right out of school, like, right after I got my certificate, I would say I was making more than my friends that graduated college around the same time, and then it kind of, like, levels out. But at the same time, like, I'm in a job that I do enjoy going to, and I don't hate my life, and I can take off a day if I want to. I don't have any, like, vacation like restrictions, whatever. So there's a lot of flexibility with other things
I'm
too.
a big fan of trade schools. My son's 17, and we're talking to him about what are you going to do? You're going to go to college. And quite frankly, he doesn't know, and not everybody knows.
And that's okay, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
it is okay.
You could be 25 years old and make $100,000 a year being a plumber if you start off like around
Welders too. Welders were in like
Welders,
desperate need of
all-
Yep.
welders.
Well, not to mention
So-
just we're talking about these like jobs too, because we need income, right? But at the same point, there's also just being happy in
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
the other thing that I also found in all that, because I've done a little bit of homework on this, because we do roofing and we're trades, that sort of thing, so we kind of, you know, people always ask us, we kind of take interest in that stuff. You know, a lot of the issue is there's still a mental thing, like parents don't want their kid, they still think their kid's going to be a doctor and lawyer. Meanwhile, their kid can barely pass,
Right.
you know, spelling in you know, high school. And they're like, you're going to be a lawyer. And they're like, no, I think I'm going to be a welder. And they're like, no, you're going to go to college and be a lawyer.
Oh yeah.
You know, $100,000 later.
There's
guess
definitely
what?
a stigma attached
There
to like
is.
There is.
certificate type
Yeah.
jobs.
And so when you talk to I talked to Michael Cardona, the school district, the superintendent here, and he said that's their biggest hurdle, getting the kids into trades is the parents.
Yep.
So true.
Or
And
I
they
mean,
make good money, man.
does
I mean,
it,
welders make
does
$40
it-
an hour?
does it also equate like daddy trying to get
roll.
little Johnny to be a fucking pro wide receiver, and
Oh, gosh.
you
What?
know,
Yeah.
and he's like, Dad, like these guys are bigger than me. No, just go out and catch the ball, and
Yeah.
he's just getting his ass kicked every fucking play.
Well, I think
you know?
part of it too may be just like living vicariously through your
Yep.
kids.
Coaching
And,
football
like,
in 5th
You know what I
grade.
mean? Like I sucked at football, but my kid, he is not gonna suck.
That's right.
You
That's
know, like-
right. That's a great question that you bring up, and I'm glad to hear everybody kind of giving a different perspective on it, because it's, although like I said, I've encouraged all my kids to go to college, it's not for everybody. It's really not. And you know, if you might be wired to do a trade, and you know, I only say one sentence about this. If we ever get in some kind of like electromagnetic pulse war with another country,
You're gonna wish you had solar.
and yeah, exactly. And technology goes out the door. You're going to need people that can do plumbing and can do roofing and construction. And those trades are very likely not going to get replaced by AI in like the next like generation. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I mean, so
The goal for you raising a child should just make your children
Not need you.
self-sustainable,
The
right?
number one
Yes.
goal of reproducing is to make them not need you.
Well, yeah, I think that's another thing. Like, you know, parents, whatever, when their kids are going off to do something, it's like you want them to be successful and be able to take care of themselves. But I don't know if like enough emphasis is put on just quality of life. You know, like
you're right.
having like
It's not.
yes, be able to pay your bills, but like don't hate life while you're doing
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you heard the fisherman story? It's a pretty good one. This guy walks up. This guy's sitting on the beach. He's got three pieces of fish. So the other guy goes up and he goes, "Hey, you got 3 pieces of fish, right?" He says, "Well, why aren't you out there fishing?" And he goes, "Well, why would I have to fish? I got 3 fish here." And he says, "Well, if you go out and you fish for more fish, well, then you could start a fishing company." Right? And he's like, "Yeah, and then what I would do after that? Well, then I would sell the fish, and then I could open several fish hatchery locations, right?" And he says, "All right, cool, then I could do that." And he says, "What do I do after?" And then you're going to be making all this money. He says, "Well, then what I do? Then you can relax, and you can sit down and go to the beach and enjoy yourself." He says, "Well, isn't
But
that
I'm
what I'm
already
doing that right?
doing that.
I'm doing that right now. I don't need to fish more
Exactly.
than I need to eat.
Right.
I'm on the beach right now. I've got 3 fish. I'm good to go, dude. You know." And I think, you know, people talk a lot, people complicate things just a little too much, and we live in a digital world when it used to just be 100% analog,
Yes.
right? The reason men did a lot of physical work is because they just had bigger muscles, man. That's what it is. There was no crazy narrative behind it. It was like, put the dude out there and have him run with the ox.
Whoa.
Go work the field.
They just need to listen to Fish.
Huh?
They just need to start listening to Fish.
They just need to start listening to Fish, the band. I'm gonna bow out. Let's get some more people up in this thing. Let's get some gentlemen over.
I
Linda,
think Justin wants to.
Yeah, Justin, you coming
again?
in?
Hey, we need this guy in the green shirt right here. He always dodges the podcast, and once he gets on, he can't be quiet.
Yeah, David Case. He can take my place.
We're gonna switch out a little bit. Get some more people over here.
No, you're not good.
There's a line here, Randy.
There's a line that doesn't want to come on the podcast.
We've got Miss Linda Coker coming on the podcast.
Hey, but
Randy, you want to sit here and keep running it? I'll bow out.
I was going to see if someone could come in and take my place.
Okay,
I
that's
need a
fine.
little
You can
break.
go. I'll stick around for a little bit.
But not if you need to take a break.
No, I don't need a break.
Man, it's hot inside those earphones.
Yeah, dude.
Taking them off is...
I can hear you like you're right there.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Josh.
How are you?
I'm fine. 2 days in a row seeing you is just awesome.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Same here.
And he just still celebrating anniversary.
We saw her last night, and we saw her today at Jorge's. And you did, too.
Yep.
Dude,
Same place
we were
last
all
night.
together.
I mean,
Yep.
but not
for
at the
real,
same time.
last night, so when I ran into you at the concert last night, was just thinking, I told my wife how blessed we are to live in a community where we go out and we're hanging out, we're running into people we know and saying
Yeah.
hi to people we haven't seen in a long time. Speaking of quality of life, that's a really great quality of life. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And not
It is.
only do you run into people you know, but you are guaranteed hugs everywhere.
That's right.
And people do not realize the value
Oh
of
my
that.
gosh. So true. So true. I gave you a big long hug last night.
I told that guy, I said, this is true love.
I'm jealous.
We hugged so long, I'm not going to tell my wife about it.
Yeah, well, good
Linda's,
thing he came here.
Linda, I love you forever.
You're the best.
So, since we have you on this awesome podcast here, Linda, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself? Are you originally from San Marcos? You know, what do you do? How do you do it? Anything you want to talk about?
Well, I'm from Lubbock.
Okay.
My grandparents lived here when I was growing up, so I have a whole lifetime, 60 plus years of memories of here. So I feel like a native, but I'm really not. I've lived here now, middle of June will be 31 years. So that's a long time.
I think
days.
that counts.
Yeah.
I think at 30 years you
Yeah.
count as a local.
So because I moved
Is that
here
what it is?
Yeah.
June 15th, 1993.
Wow.
So I just, for some reason, it's stuck in my head.
Right? Did you?
I saw that. That was awesome.
Did you see that?
I got your 2 years old right here in my pocket. Am I right?
Oh, really?
I'm gonna forever cherish this moment, Linda.
I think I have underwear older than. I'm just kidding.
I know.
Not gonna say that.
But and I worked at the university. I went back to school in my 30s, and then got divorced. Had to go back to work full time, and then
Right.
worked at White Light.
It's okay. I'm just getting a tan.
You sure? Okay.
Just
Sorry.
you
man.
know, and then retired, and thought I just do the community thing. That's all I do is volunteer work constantly.
So one of the more interesting things that I love talking about you with is the historical commission.
I am chair of the Hays County Historical Commission.
Tell us a little bit about that for maybe some people that don't know. what that is.
It's the appointed board from our commission, appointed by the Hays County Commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
We serve 2-year terms. I am now in my 17th year
Oh wow.
of serving on it. We do the historical markers that you see everywhere. We do cemetery work. We do the County Museum, the Kyle Depot Museum, just anything having to do with history in Hays County.
Wow.
And it's all, and I don't call myself a historian by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
I call myself a storyteller.
Storyteller.
And I have all these stories just rolling around in my head that I regurgitate, you know,
You're in the perfect
whether
place
people
to
want to hear
let
them or
them out.
not. You know, like the little signs on the empty buildings that have like on the First National Bank where it has about the bank in 1909 and then the robbery and anyway these
Come on in, bud.
anyway the
Pass microphones, you know.
the little graphics that are on the vacant buildings are stories regurgitated out of my head. That's the
Is that right? Okay.
the CVB calls it the Legends Has It project, and I do tours, and the old jail is everybody's favorite always. So anyway, that's
So, and you office out of the courthouse?
out of the courthouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And do y'all run tours every once in a while, or how do you do
Yes,
that?
and I do a lot of school stuff.
Okay.
I do government days for the high school, which I take them different groups all day to like the government center, and I take them through court and have the judges talk to them, the 911 dispatch, the emergency management system, the constables talk to them. I mean, it's like I do like explain the county government to them. I really don't know how because it's not really history, but somehow I fell into it, and now it's a regular gig every year with the high school.
That's pretty cool. And you have a friend here with
This
you.
is my husband, Larry.
I think I might know him.
Yep.
That's husband Larry? I'm just
I let
kidding.
him out every now
I
and
knew that
then.
was husband Larry. How you doing, Larry? We're just hanging here talking about things and stuff. Larry, you retired as well? Here, give him the mic so we can talk.
Yeah, for about 10 years now.
Okay. What'd you do before this?
I was an accountant.
Okay. Here in San Marcos?
No.
Well, actually, yes, because we
Well,
met.
yeah, I was for.
We met. He went to work at White Light, where I worked in the accounting department, on his 50th birthday. So it's really easy to remember.
Interesting. You worked at Wildlight?
Yeah.
500 Wonder World. Yeah.
I was actually a consultant. They asked me to take care of some old problems and see if I could figure out what they were, and that I did that for a year or so.
I was one of them.
So
I'm still working on that one.
weird story, but at the back side of the Wildlight property or the big open field, the lady who used to be married to the owner of White Light, they're divorced now, I guess. She lives at the Tom Thumb storage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she came over and I was like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Well, I used to own this land." Really?
Yeah,
So
it's
if you, I forget what her name is, but
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
so White Light, for everybody that's watching, they made halogen bulbs for gymnasiums. So you remember back in
And
the old school
parking
days and
lots
parking
and-
lots, you do a basketball deal and you'd flip on the light and it'd take like 10 minutes for the lights to turn on because they had to warm up. White Light was the largest manufacturer.
Their claim to fame was Red Sox Stadium. What do they call that?
Fenway Park.
Fenway Park. Yeah.
Fenway Park, yeah. So we actually office out of an old White Light building. So if you're on Wonder World where the overpass is, see the tennis courts that were down there on the right? There's the metal buildings on this side and the buildings on this side. Well, all of that used to be White Light at some point, right? Where the tennis courts were. So 500 Wonder World, the address is actually our building. It's also CMI Steel Factory right by the train tracks, and 500 Wonder is also the police station's address. 3 people at the same address. Pretty interesting, right?
You're right next to the police station?
Yeah, I'm right yeah, they keep me right next to the police station.
Oh, okay. So I'm right next to you at Thermon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you work at Thermon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Keep that on the look.
Anyway, and then we got married
Well,
8 years. We can't remember.
It was a shotgun wedding.
Shotgun wedding. Well, you're going to give them the mic. Otherwise, we can't hear. What is a shotgun wedding? Explain that for everybody.
I was like, 58, 59, maybe 60. And there were these 3 kids we wanted to adopt, and they didn't like the fact that we weren't married.
Okay.
So we went ahead and got married. And so, yeah, it was because she had 3 kids.
And you guys are working parents right now. And how old are the kids now?
10, 14, and 18.
I have to jump into that whole story, but
Well, when we got them, they were 2, still in diapers, oh good Lord, and 2, 6, and 10.
and how long ago? Yeah, so that was
So
2, 6, 10, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was
About
oh my
8, 9,
Lord.
10 years ago, right?
Yeah. And when we decided to adopt them, because the oldest, the 18-year-old, biologically wasn't my son's. He was a stepdaughter, and she had other grandparents. So they could have fought us for him, but we wanted to keep the kids together. And they said, well, the only problem they could really have is that y'all aren't married. But we'd lived together like 7 years back then.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, hell, we'll just get married. And so
I said I'd never do that again.
we threw a big old party at the courthouse, and when I was doing the wedding invitations, it was doing the request on, all fancy, and I'm like, Larry, nobody's gonna buy this crap from me, Anyway, so our wedding invitations read something like, Linda, no way in hell, Coker, and Larry, not again in this lifetime, may request the honor of your presence at the eating of their words. That was our wedding invitation.
Oh, that's great.
Long date on
And
the invitation.
Yeah, and I had them all sealed. And that paper and all that's expensive. So instead of redoing it all, I ordered a stamp where it had an emoji where the lady's doing this and stamped on the outside the correct date. It was perfect. It was me.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to introduce somebody else who just walked up onto the panel over here. This is Mr. Matthew Worthington. Would you all want to switch me up? You guys look hot over there. Everybody's chasing the bench away
show
from
him how
the
to
sun,
turn his mic on.
Yeah.
Show him how to-
that's not bad.
Show him how to turn his mic on.
Like you're in the plant, but it's fine.
Hey,
Better
Josh,
be not.
you got to turn his mic on.
Your mic's not on.
There you go.
Sorry, there.
Check,
now
check.
his mic's on.
There we go.
All right,
There you go.
Matthew Worthington.
So I don't have the headphones.
Just give us a little introduction. Tell
He
us what
is
you do, how you do it, why you do
melting
it.
by the
Hey,
minute.
I'm good. I'll probably just sweat more. Yeah. Oh, wow. Sorry. Let me pull this back a little bit. I'm Matt Worthington.
Right up in there, didn't you?
Yell at us.
I work for PAM Health, so I inpatient rehab hospitals, and I handle workers' comp director for the Austin market. So I have 4 hospitals from Round Rock down to New Braunfels, and so work with a lot of businesses, companies, insurances, and when their workers get hurt, we come in to help take care of them and get them back home, back to work. back getting a full paycheck, and that's our goal, is to get them back as close to 100% as we can. So it's a pretty fun job. I like it.
And where are you all located? Is it here in San Marcos? Or?
Yeah, well, we have 70 hospitals in the country. In Austin alone, we have 4. Austin Market, we have 4. San Antonio, we have 5. Houston, we have 5. So we're heavy, and we probably have a little over 20 hospitals in Texas. So, more than that now. So it's growing so fast, it's hard to keep track of sometimes.
Just decided I'm going to ask everybody the same question that comes up here, just to see what people have to say. But we tried to keep this on topic.
You're starting with me, or what?
Yeah, I'm going to start with you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Try to keep it on topic, which is
answer.
Regionalism and the impact that we can make in our own communities. You had one thing that you could do right now to make a general impact. It doesn't have to be San Marcos or Hays County, but what would you do? How would you do it if you had a magic wand?
Not a magic wand.
You had a magic wand. You're like, one thing I could change right now today to really make a huge impact in this area.
That's a very difficult. That's a big
question. On that for a second?
I know. Yeah, let me think about that for a minute. Do you have any examples? Nobody else has answered this yet?
No. Mariah got it.
Oh, Mariah's got it. Let's go.
So,
go for it. All right, Mariah, you hop in.
So currently, this is very near and dear to me because obviously I'm involved with fur babies, and what is currently going on at our regional animal shelter is just beyond heartbreaking. Our staff are having to make these really tough decisions on euthanizing these innocent babies that didn't ask to be put in the situation that they're in, right? So if I had a magic wand, I would just get all the land in Hays County and just put all of the fur babies and just lay in the grass with them and roll
Nice.
around. But no, if I could help alleviate that, they're just inundated right now. There's 20, 30 dogs in pop-up crates in a drive-through that has no AC, mind you. They're just what are those portable fans that are getting these kiddos air, and they're so understaffed, so not every kiddo is getting the adequate time to go walk on a leash and have fun time, and they're just stuck in these little crates, and it's just heartbreaking to see it. So we have just been really trying to work with them, help get kiddos adopted, fostered. So if anybody is in a position that can foster, adopt, or just go and see if our local shelter just needs a helping hand, a little goes a long way. And so
This is why I love this question, actually, because it's so unique to the individual. You're not going to get the same answer from everybody, and you're obviously very passionate about that. It's what you do for your job, but it supersedes your job, clearly. Right?
So love the diversity of the group for that, because we all have these kind of areas, industries, focuses, things where we see these needs, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is, and you're like, I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know this, but like, oh, Mariah, I didn't know about that. Like, thank you for educating me. So I love how we can kind of educate each other on issues that we might be ignorant to because we're living in this world, working in these projects or different things. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
what
awesome.
you got? What's your answer?
Well, I guess I'll go back to education, just because that's kind of been a hot topic lately. And then I saw our chamber president Paige walk in with a Rattlers Fang'em shirt on, and so I was thinking about that, just the importance of education for our local community, the public school systems, in all of our regional areas, because when you look at, what draws people in, like, oh, they see a good job, they see all these other things, they're always looking at the schools, and then plus for employees and people, when they get out of school, we want to have opportunities for them, and so raising the education level of the folks in our community, I think, is a huge benefit for everyone. It kind of it makes your city grow in a proper way, a healthy way. So I think that's really important. That's been something that's been a big focus, like while I was, on the chamber board. And so I'm always looking for ways to partner and do. We're doing the externship program where the teachers can come into different industries and learn, like, hey, what do I need to teach my kids that are going to help them when they graduate? Yes, I have to teach them what's in the book. Yes, they have to pass these tests and do these. Like, what are some other real life things that are going to help them as soon as they graduate. So I love getting to be a part of that and help that and try to help our young population grow in their education level.
You know, something that wasn't taught in my school that we went is credit, how to manage your credit. At all. And I was like, what is this? Like my mom had, they had shitty credit, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be like that. And so that's kind of like how I learned it. But as far as like school goes, because credit is a tricky situation, like you can't just, it's not just like, like step 1 and 2, you got to learn how to like manage it and stuff. And that wasn't taught to us at all. I don't even think I heard the word credit like in economics or anything like that. You know what I mean?
And manage it over time. It's not like you said, one trick just gets it set. It's like it's habits as well. Yeah, there's a lot that goes to it.
I love how to write a check.
Yeah. Even though you don't, but yes.
Dude, nowadays, if somebody's in front of me and they don't use like Apple Pay or something, I'm just like, dude, you're using a credit card? Like, you might as well just write a check.
Back in the old days, Linda, are you gonna let me say what I want to say? Of course you are. I remember standing in line at 7-Eleven, dude, and you're 9-10 people deep, right? And everybody's just trying to get their little trinket of whatever gold it is they're about to buy, and then watching 9 people in front of you like pull through pockets, and then you get to dude number 3, and you're like, you're in line. You need to know how much it costs, and you need to be close to having that dollar amount correct with your change ready to go, so we can keep the line moving. But then you'd be like, God dang it, dude! This guy over fumbling through his pockets, dude. We had a line of 9 people.
Plenty of time to get
plenty of time, You don't have to do that anymore. And now people are so impatient. It's like,
Do you catch yourself doing that, like when you go to the bank? You're like 10 cars behind, and then you don't have like your deposit ready until you like get.
That's
right.
right.
There.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not lady for sure.
But I love that what you said about the education piece, because so for everybody that's watching, we've all been involved. We share boards and commissions and things around town. And not anyone's necessarily greater than the other, but really it's a community effort to bring everybody together. So this year, one of the efforts that the chamber's working on, the Texas State, the city, everybody's trying to bring through is the education piece together. What I love so much right now is seeing somebody like President Danfus, who comes in with his style of leadership that is the bowling ball that Alfonso's talking about, right? Alfonso said something earlier, it's like, if you want to change something, you just be the bowling ball. Sometimes you're going to rustle some feathers. It is what it is. And then I said shortly after that, it's how you do it. So what I love about Mr. Danfus is that he does both. He is the bowling ball, but how he does it matters, right? And it's attractive, right? And people are buying what he's selling, right? And at the end of the day, he's not disingenuous about it. He's not a hot-headed leader. It's all about servant leadership. He's putting himself in the shoes. He's standing right next to those types of people. So I think this community should be super grateful just to have such a great example of someone like that. And not only that, you have a major 4-year university, the next big 4-year university in the state of Texas. You're going to have a ton of money coming this way, a lot of resources. Everybody needs to jump on that back, right? And this is our opportunity to really make some big changes.
Well, what's like super exciting about that is when I was at Texas State, when I graduated, I'm like, well, what's in San Marcos to keep me here? And instead I was like, I'm going to go to the big city. I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to go to Dallas. I'm going to go to Austin. There was nothing and kind of still somewhat to keep the students here, to keep the growth, to keep them the financial here.
Yeah.
And so that's really exciting to hear that we have somebody that's really being
and we're next. It's you, it's me, it's Matt, it's all of us. It's not any one person, but it's the idea needs to be continually talked about. And the other, people talk about this iron group, right? Iron sharpens iron. But the whole idea here is really just to sharpen each other in order to affect change, to work together in a positive manner. It's not political. It's not biased in any way. It's just like, look, again, I know Linda because I know Linda. I could give a crap about her politics. I love her to death, right? But when you have people working together like that, and they're willing to put aside their differences, and then you can really affect some change.
There's nobody that sat at this table today or that will sit that you haven't seen at another community organized event or something. Like everybody here is a part of all. Like we're all like, what can we do for the community?
That's
and
right.
all these different things, and we're all doing them, and we do them together. We're on a couple boards together. Me and you are on a couple boards. You know, it's like all these things, and we're all trying to be that bowling ball. And this is a good group to like keep like throwing us down the lane, like, hey man, get back out there, you know, because because we do talk about a lot of things, but this group is really good about like, okay, now we've talked about it, now let's who wants to run with this, you know.
That's
who
right.
wants to go down this direction, who wants to go this way.
You need the power behind it. You need to have those relationships with the right people to move the ball too. So, you know, you didn't mention earlier, but Matt's the ex chair for the San Marcos Chamber of Commerce. So as you see people come through here, you're seeing Planning and Zoning Commission, you're seeing chairs of boards and commissions, you've got Historical Society showing up, you know, you've got the chamber president, you've got educators, you've got bankers, you know. That's the whole point of this group. And, you know, it sounds kind of cheesy. People are like, well, this is I.r.o.n. group. About like, look, man, put yourself aside for a second and let's just get together. Let's have some fun. Let's talk and let's bring everybody together. Because I'll speak to San Marcos personally because I live here and I think I can. I think I've got the background on it. But San Marcos needs some people to bring apart some change.
Yeah. Some doers. Some disruptors.
Some disruptors. Yeah. Oh, dude, I love that.
Right.
When I was in school, by the way, fun fact. My report, 1931, whenever I was in school.
Back when Old Main was just Maine.
That's right. It was just old. Every single one of my report cards on it, I kid you not, disrupts class. Continually disrupts class.
From the beginning, it's a disruptor, man.
Disruptors, man. I love
Who would have guessed
that word. You know, but back then it was called disruptor or disrupts class.
It was bad.
Now you're called a troll. Like I just you troll people. You're like, I want to go push her real quick and see if she gets mad. You know, like so. But we want to do that economically.
I want to go back to the education thing, because I take high school kids, expose them to the government stuff, and they're continually amazed by the fact that how much money you can make leaving our high school if you parlay it right. Like, you can go to 911 dispatch, and within a month of graduating high school, you could be making $21 to $25 an hour. Wow. Or in the couple of weeks ago, I had kids in Judge Tuttle's court, and then was talking to him about a court reporter in a year and a half at SAC, and they supply all the equipment and everything. You can be a court reporter making $300 an hour and working half a day, 2 or 3 days a week. And people don't realize that everything you do, you own. It's your intellectual property. So when the court needs copies of it, the attorneys need copies of it, whatever, you can charge whatever you want because it's your property. I mean, there's a mega bucks that you can make that you don't have to go to college.
We have to rethink the whole narrative, and the four-year university idea has been jammed down our throats ad nauseum to some extent. I'm not saying it's not valuable. That's
it was looked at as the only option rather than, no, it's one of,
There's a video online on YouTube. You can look it up. Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, the TV show, and he talks about blue-collar jobs and those types of things. So I'll spare you the narrative, but you can imagine where that's going to go. He's a extremely intelligent individual. Y'all need to watch that. So I think I'm going to bring on a couple more people over here. Who else we want to bring on up?
Hey, before you go, man, I just wanted to say that's why, like, when Alfonso taps me in and he's like, hey, we're going to do the I.r.o.n. thing. You want to come in? I'm like, dude, I'm there. Because I got introduced to all you guys, and I'm like, these guys are all successful business owners, successful in general, you know, and you are who you hang around. You know
that's
what I mean?
Right.
And that's something that I struggled with, like, in high school, because I was like, well, I'm not my friends, you know, like, I'm different than them. But what I failed to realize, you know, was that I am them, you know what I mean? And so, you know, doing my own thing and all that, now I have a family and, you know, I'm doing all this stuff, and now I get you guys' perspectives, and now I can take a little bit of all you guys back home with me to Lockhart in me, do the practices, and also share it with my friends and all that stuff. And you know, I think it's like 20% talk, 80% action. You know what I mean? Because talking's easy. Anybody can do it.
That's right.
it's
you
hard to get up.
said
and do
that
it.
right then, and I was literally about to rebuttal to you. Say it's the physical though that you got to get in there and do it. Like I wanted to start learning to fly planes last year. You ain't gonna fly a plane without getting in the plane. You're like, well, how the hell am I gonna get in a plane? I don't know. Go to school, start figuring it out. You gotta add money. You gotta start pushing, but push.
There's 3 things that the grandkids that I repeat ad nauseum, and they roll their eyes, but at some point I really think it'll make a difference. I tell them, 1, bad manners is worse than no money. You can be anywhere, and if you have decent manners, you're going to be okay. Yeah. 2, you get out of this world what you put into it, no more, no less. And 3, they can take everything you have but your dignity, and you have to give that away.
Yeah. Mic drop.
We should have saved that for the end of the podcast.
Sorry, dude. I dropped your mic, but I had to. He's like, dude, hey, I liked being around you until you broke my mic.
It's all good. I'll send you an invoice.
Yeah.
I think if you just have those little snippets in your head, you will be okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey,
advice.
let's get Paige up here and Liz.
She's coming.
Oh, yeah. Liz is ready.
All right. Hey, I'm going to bow out now.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
And we'll get Paige and Liz. I kind of want to be up here when Liz and Paige are up here, though.
I can bow out.
Stick around.
I don't really mind. Fonzo and I kind of take turns making sure it doesn't go off the rails, because it has gone off the rails before.
Just a couple times.
When I saw Mariah not smiling, that's usually an indication that, hey, she needs a break.
It's just,
Mariah's hot.
I'm getting it.
Right? You're hot.
Heat stroke.
It's hot. Linda's hot, too.
And we
I grew up in Texas. You have a fan.
Look at you.
Thank you.
Hey, she's ready.
She mic drop and has a fan.
Did not think
And you know what? And I'll take full responsibility for scheduling it today and during this heat. But there was an opportunity to partner with Zelix that we felt, we needed to do it now or not. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we'll be back hopefully when it's a lot cooler, and we'll do this again. But we just had to make it happen.
They're a great partner.
Thank you.
He
man.
was here earlier, so we might do the Katz Brothers rounds. Maybe it's here, North Street, High Society, maybe some Katz, kolaches.
Dos Gatos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking for AC. Anybody's got a good spot with some AC. The problem is everybody likes to smoke these cigars over here, which is fine. We love it. I'm not smoking one right now because I think I'd die. But, yeah, we need a good spot we can smoke some cigars. We may have to go back to the tower, man. Tower of Power. You ready to go back to the tower?
Hell yeah.
You want to go?
Yeah.
That was fun, right?
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah, everybody who's watching, we did a podcast from the top of the Wonderworld Caves Tower. You're 200 feet up in the air. That was awesome.
That's awesome.
And the cool thing about that, the wind was blowing pretty good the whole time, so it wasn't perfect, but, you get a little wind.
Can you do it down in?
Yeah, we need to do it down there.
We need to do it in the cave.
Oh, I like that.
What is it, 60 degrees down there?
It'd be nice down there.
Like right now.
Let's go. What do we? Can we?
I don't know about the fall.
Well, the problem is they do those tours throughout the day, so you have to, dodge. That would be
That'd
hilarious.
be cool to see us doing our podcast.
They walk through, and they're like, hey, and they're doing a podcast in cave number 2.
We could have an open mic too,
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Be quiet.
Yeah.
Paige. Justin, Paige. You want to come on in?
No, Justin's.
Oh, Justin's got a little scar on his
Paige
face.
said
Little
she
mountain
would.
biking incident.
Did you hear about Justin's mountain biking incident?
Do tell. What
Yeah, he was riding his bicycle, or his mountain bike, excuse me.
Sounds cooler when you say
that
mountain
sounded
bike.
weak. Yeah, he was riding his mountain bike.
Trike.
Purgatory Creek, man.
It's his
Devil's
big bike.
backbone, bro. And I was going
And he had the training wheels off too, from what I
Oh,
understand.
okay. That explains it right there. I wondered.
he flipped over his handlebars and then landed, and he cut a huge gash underneath his chin. So when we were at lunch today, everybody's telling jokes. He can't laugh. So he's just like,
Which was that one?
it was pretty funny.
One of the
Yeah,
guys
it was.
said something.
Yeah, we were.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good.
And did that make us stop telling jokes?
No.
Nah, maybe he was telling us
Well,
even more.
and for everybody watching the podcast, Justin Payne with Frost Bank, we call him Scarface now. That's his new.
We were just
his nickname.
sharpening Justin, so that was
Yeah.
part of.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron.
Team U, Scarface.
Team. Yeah. All right, well, I think we got to get a couple more guests on here real quick.
Yeah, Paige.
Yeah, we need to get Paige over here.
Paige.
Paging Paige.
She's like, I think they're calling
Paging
you.
Paige. Paige.
Mariah, you picked up a good tan while you've been sitting here for a few minutes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
I think
having
you're
me.
going to take
And
this
for
by Josh.
are you running for city council on the record right now? Everybody, just kidding. You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that.
While we bring that up, that would be my answer to that question: civic engagement.
Oh yeah.
The people do not realize every person here has the power to create the community we live in by voting.
Yep.
Linda, nothing was better represented than when you walked in city council and talked about the development they're doing over here, right? From the historical, it's such a powerful thing that happened, but you went with your heart, you went with what you believed in, and I honestly do believe that you're a catalyst to make that happen.
Well, thank you.
You ought to hear what she has to say about who needs to.
Say that again?
Hear what she has to say about who needs to.
Oh, I need to hear what.
So, yeah, it's because it's changed. It's gotten malicious, and it shouldn't be that
No,
way. It
yeah.
shouldn't be that way.
Better together. You've heard all the acronyms, but it's so true. It's
You
just
need to respect the people's passion
yes.
and let them have their opinion and let them respect yours.
That's right.
And because everybody wants what's best for the community and just has a different
Different
vision for it.
angle at it. Yeah. Well said. Well said. All right, come on in.
Okay.
Paige.
Josh.
Oh my gosh. Liz, are you gonna come on too? What do you mean? Look, we have space. Come on. No. Who do you want to stay up here? I'll leave. Mariah can stay. Matt can stay. Come sit with me. Come on. We're here. It's shady right here. It's shady right here. Cody, you want to come on too? Your little horse? A horse is a horse, of course, of course. Hey, we need one more. We need one more. Darst, get your booty over here. All right, Alfonso, I need you in on this one.
Hey, who was
Come on.
dude in the green, the bank guy? Green shirt?
David Case?
Yeah.
Where's he at? Is David Case over here? No. Hey, Matt, go get David Case, please, and say that Paige has requested him, please.
He already went home.
He went home? Who else we got here? Yeah, bring Justin on. Nah, bring Justin. Randy was on. It's not that he can't be on again, though. Hey, Matt. Justin Payne.
You might get on that karaoke machine here before it's all said and done.
We are, but
Lo que tú quieras.
I want to make sure that,
Yeah, let's
I don't have all the questions. You know what I mean?
Let's make sure that we give this time to Paige and Liz
100%.
because they have a wonderful perspective coming from not only the
100%.
chambers, but also I think Paige has seen a lot of things that's I don't want to use the word deficient here in some articles, but maybe that's challenging.
Yes.
But at the same time, there are a lot of positive things that are going on here in
Yes.
some articles. So
So
with
let's
that,
welcome Paige Michelle.
Thank you, Josh Paselk.
And what is your formal title? Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Paige Michelle. I'm the president and CEO of the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce.
Love it. And one of my favorite people ever.
ditto.
And two of my favorite board members ever.
Hey, I remember when you were coming in. Where did I meet you? At Industry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I was looking at you and I was like, is she the real
make
deal? Is she the real thing? And boy, she's not let us down so
Well,
far.
when I first met Paige, I kind of I threw a little test out there, and I don't know if you remember when I first met you and introduced myself, and asked you what do you know about Lockhart, and I was kind of hoping to catch you off guard, being in San Marcos, right, San Marcos Chamber,
See?
and then you went right off the bat. Oh, I love that barbecue, and you just started talking about it. That we go down there to Lockhart, and so you won me over, by the way.
So she did a good interview with
She
you, is what you're
did,
saying, Alfonso.
Yeah,
So we
not-
just have to talk about barbecue. And
That's right.
We got you.
Yeah.
that's
Right.
pretty much it.
Okay.
Now we
The fastest
know
way to a
the
man's heart is through his stomach,
That's
right?
Alfonso's heart, absolutely.
All right, and then we also have another guest, another one of my favorite people ever. Truly.
ditto.
He says
Oh
that
my
to
gosh.
everybody.
No.
No,
It's
we
because I have
don't
a lot
say
of
that.
favorite people, but you're special. You're super special.
Extra special.
Special.
We won't define that right now, fuck. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is Liz Castaneda. Liz, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you work for, all that.
So Liz Castaneda, I'm the director of Education and Talent Pipeline Development for the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce.
Love it. Love it. So currently, with the chamber, what are we working on? We got so much that we're working on. But why don't you speak to about what you're responsible for and what's going on?
So typically, on a day-to-day basis, I'm kind of like a connector between the education and the workforce. What's going on with workforce? What are the workforce needs in the community? So I just want to pretty much make sure that I'm in contact with all the education entities that help feed our workforce to make sure that we're meeting their needs.
So you meet with, it's the high school, you're talking to people from Texas State, you're really just being the convener.
Right. Well, mainly I'm with San Marcos High School.
Gotcha.
With the school district. But yes, when you talk about education, you're talking about the whole pipeline.
Yeah.
Education. So yes, that does sometimes mean that I meet with other school entities or even the higher education entities.
So is this the first time you've ever worked with the chamber on anything before?
No.
Setup.
I know, very much. No, actually, I'm very fortunate to have worked with the San Marcos Chamber for many years prior and been very involved with the community.
So give a little backstory. I think Liz and I, we probably know about 10, 11 years, right? Something like that?
Something.
I love the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce. It's my go-to program, entity. It's all that. I second that. I really enjoy my time there. Do such a great job, and I'm so happy with the direction that we're going in. I do serve on the board of directors for the chamber as well. I know Alfonso does, and we're just so happy to have Paige on board. So Paige, what are we doing this year? Where are we going? What do you think?
Well, goal number 1 is working on education.
Yes.
All of the things related to workforce development, and also just really supporting and rallying behind the Rattlers and improving the knowledge of the community about all the awesome things at the schools.
Yes.
And therefore the perception of people. I think that a lot of newcomers come and they haven't yet seen or heard, and it's just amazing what's going on at elementary, middle schools. I was very fortunate to be at a school board meeting a couple weeks ago, and the director of fine arts was there praising. He had a bunch of the kids there from our middle schools, and every single band, they have, jazz band, orchestra band, symphony, mariachi, and several different grades and levels, and they all got top rankings at their competitions. And a lot of other school districts don't even have those programs at the middle school level. I was a band parent, raised our kids at Brenham, and they only got to that kind of exposure for music in high school.
That's right.
It is phenomenal, all of the things that are offered here.
And
phenomenal.
you all just toured the high school, right?
Yes.
How'd that go?
This afternoon we had a tour. Great, as always.
Yes.
People's eyes just wide open. I know our chairman of the board, Justin Payne, was there. He had never seen their medical training where they have an ambulance and they have like a whole hospital wing where you learn nursing and patient care. And they have the media department with the whole TV station and a green screen room. And certainly the automotive repair and technology.
Pretty impressive.
It's so impressive.
So we took, for the viewers watching, we took a trip to Kentucky about a month or so ago, and one of the reasons the chamber does these trips is to go witness and kind of put hands on other communities to see how they do things, so that maybe we could fashion what we're doing here in town in a similar way. And we are pretty impressed at the high school that we saw in Kentucky. What was what we all came to was, that high school was cool, but then we came back, we're like, we actually have all of this.
We've got that.
We have all of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
But we're just a tad bit disconnected here as recent. So I know the chamber this year, our big push is the education. So last year we backed the Bobcats, if you will.
And we still do,
every
day, of course. But we got to rally for the Rattlers. There's just not enough perception out there. It is so awesome. There's a major goal at San Marcos CISD that every student graduate not just with a diploma, but also a certificate of technical training. They could immediately go into the workforce if they choose not to go to higher ed. And C.J. Odom is the Director of Career and Technology Education. He was telling me that just now, of the graduating class a few weeks ago, 500 students, about 310 of them had their certificate.
Oh, wow.
In some certificate that's immediately making them valuable to the workforce.
Yeah.
And 10% of them already had an associate's degree. 2 years of college already knocked out.
And Paige, that's
Those are some high achievers.
That leads into a segue here that tying in what the chamber does through the inner city trip, because as you know, I'm all about regionalism and bringing in Lockhart into the fold.
Yes.
And one thing that I appreciate about the inner city trip is when we have our superintendent, Mark Estrada, sits next to Mr. Carmona, who's the superintendent here, and they are talking. You know, when I was growing up, and probably even James too, when he was going to school, there was a competitive wall between us and San Marcos. And when I first got here, there was kind of still that, but pushing and talking about getting people to do and it's great. And I love to, when they're talking, I love to get in the middle of them because it's kind of the best of both worlds. But so that leads me to a question for both of you, Liz and Paige, is you've seen the makeup of I.r.o.n. somewhat, the people that are involved, and hopefully we gave you the impression that we like to be a group of doers. You know, yeah, it's fun to sit around and talk, but it's all about, walking the walk. So my question is to you is, how do you see I.r.o.n. Help encourage those students that you mentioned, Paige, not attending college after high school, to seek entrepreneurship and or mentorship programs? How can we direct them in that direction? Because you're right, not everybody's going to seek the post-secondary education.
Correct. I mean, I think the number one thing is word of mouth promotion. The more that you can talk to families and talk to people where they're at, where you meet them in the community and spread the word. A lot of times the kids might think, yeah, that's cool. I do want to get right out and start making some money and buy a car. But moms or aunts or grandmas like, no, college for you because I didn't get to. So there's all the generations that we have to influence. Did you? Yeah.
Yeah,
we
parents
have
end
to
up pushing.
influence all the generations, and there's always night school or work a couple years. I don't know. There's a lot of options.
So basically, we say educate them with those available resources, point them in the right direction.
Yes,
right.
Network, mentor.
I do think that is one way. The other thing is individually, you all can have a big impact by going into the schools. I think that is something that is necessary in order for kids to actually see themselves in like other people's shoes. To talk to them about what you do on an everyday basis, and maybe read to them or just show them that there are other pathways. Maybe not college, maybe they're not ever considered college, but maybe they can go to a 2-year to get a certification in order to be able to do something that you do. You know what I mean? Like just giving them more exposure, because I can tell you that the same people always, like, just like as a parent, I could see student or your kid not wanting to pay attention because, oh, you're the one saying it. But if somebody else says it to them, the same thing, they'll then
that's how that works.
pay attention. So I think that it's another
It's like I'm your dad.
Yeah.
But Joe Schmo from down the street tells you to go to college and now you want to go.
Yes, exactly. But you know what? Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah,
So I do think that would be important. An important step for I.r.o.n. to go in and maybe do some community service.
Let me piggyback on that. Matt was sitting here, Mariah, and we were talking about the physicality of change that's required, the talk versus, walk, and really what that looks like. And I had asked Matt and Mariah, said there's one thing that you had a magic wand that you can go through and change, what would it be? So that being said, I'm going to segue that a little bit. You're obviously passionate about education. I don't want to put the words in your mouth, but if there's a magic wand that you could change here, let's say in San Marcos, since this is where we live, right? What would you do right now to really affect the most change? And I'll give you a hint, but I think it's education. but anyway.
No, well, it's a little difficult because having worked at Texas State, there's so many arms to that. But I do think that Texas State has a huge influence on the pathways to not just college, but maybe to the workforce.
Right.
Because they have the resources. If they, with resources, you can create different pathways for kids. And so, regardless of whether someone decides to go to Texas State or not, if Texas State can create a partnership with the chamber or other community organizations that can assist in creating those resources for kids, I think it would go a long way. Texas State has a huge influence in the community. Now, they're not the only ones, obviously, but I do think that they hold a lot of the power. And if we can tap into some of the resources that they have at a higher level, not necessarily individually with professors and staff members, but at a higher level, be able to create an umbrella type of organization that can create pathways for kids. I think it would be a great resource to.
So, and I'll piggyback, Paige. How much of a role do you think Texas State really plays in the education community around here, and how well do you think they did it in the past, and where do you think we're headed?
And question number 2 is, how can they impact the region?
Yeah.
Right. Well, as you know, I'm a newcomer to the region, so I can't go
it's
back
great.
too
Fresh
far.
eyes.
But definitely can look at the current and where it's headed, and I think they're doing a phenomenal job regionally, certainly with the Round Rock campus, and reaching out to students in all areas around our mega region. But I think it's a huge impact, and a lot of the people that go there as students then either become part of our workforce, and Bobcats forever, as I hear. I'm a Bobcat mom, but I'm not a Bobcat myself.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question?
No, it
I think
does.
that's huge. I think that's a huge. It
And
can't be understated.
I'm leading a little bit, obviously, because I've obviously got an idea in my mind, and I you witness energy in and around things. I may not understand a lot of the details of things, but you can tell when there's something's moving. You know what I'm saying? And there's just so much movement with Texas State happening right now with the president, his servant style leadership, right? That I think that is the biggest move I think that we could make in this community right now that could affect change across the board. We're talking from civics, the civic side, the city side, from the college. People talk about school rating here, stuff, all that. I think it really can have a huge impact if we let Texas State kind of lead.
And they're the top teacher producing university in the state, which means the world.
Wow.
As President Dampus likes
to say. It's a big state, yeah.
And so with the teacher shortage facing the nation, and just teaching being so important, so the impact of Texas State on all the people that then go out and teach students, not just in our region but all over, is also huge.
Big.
So,
yeah.
And Texas State loves to talk about their connection with San Marcos CISD. Their student teachers are embedded in our schools, and their students high school students are learning on the campus of a university of that stature. It's just amazing.
It's
amazing.
amazing.
You're right, big things are happening.
Big things are happening.
And so necessary for the future, because we all know how hard teachers work.
Oh my gosh.
And they're not getting the pay or the thanks that they deserve. So anything we can do to shine a light on that and support that, we're going to do.
And I guess it's probably unfair to expect Texas State being a San Marcos, university, to expect them to kind of extend their reach in a more impactful way, like going into Lockhart, for example.
Well, those students are there too. They love that connection as well.
And Texas State graduates a majority of the teachers that are in Lockhart.
Right, of course.
My daughter went to Texas State, so it's a wonderful university. But I guess I would like to see more of a connection, I guess, and maybe with ACC coming, maybe that'll happen organically, and maybe just being patient. But I just, I'm one that's like say, hey, it's a powerhouse. I mean, not only in the education, but with the Star Park.
Right.
They're incubators for new businesses, and several have found homes in Lockhart. So that impact is great. I just wish there was more narrative around that collaboration. And maybe it's just about, for us, like you say, maybe educating people about it.
Right. Yeah, I think for so many years, just in general, if you're familiar with academia, teachers or faculty are kind of pushed to create their own pathways towards tenure. In order to do that, you have to have community service, you have to have shown interest in the community, be involved on the campus, have all these different things that they have to check off in order to make tenure, which tenure is what you want as a faculty, as a professor. Well, for so many years, they've had to do that on their own. So what you've seen in the past, I would say before maybe 4 years ago, let's say before COVID, what you've seen in the past is that everybody was on their own. Each faculty, so you had all these different people working. Texas State is out there individually, not as an entity. I think it's been more recent that you've actually seen more of a push, and maybe it's with the new president, where you see Texas State coming maybe more at the community as an entity rather than as an individual. And so, I mean, I do think that one thing is for the talk to be there. Now we just have to see action, and that's where I think maybe what you're going for is, or trying to seek is, okay, well, how can we do that? And that's where I would like to know too.
Let's talk about this group, this I.r.o.n group, and we've said this time and time again. What's I.r.o.n here for? What's it about? But at the end of the day, we use the word convener for the chamber. And that's all we're really doing is you're finding some type of relaxed atmosphere where you can get some players in town who can come together and relax and say, just have some discussions. And if we schedule these things regularly, you are planning to plan, right? You're planning to talk. For what? Is it cheesy? Is it not? Not really, because this is how you affect change. This is a physical movement. We are here together, right? And so I'm super excited where we're going. Alfonso, thanks for getting this group going, man. Super cool. I think Tommy just walked in too. Maybe do you think it's too quick to try to hop
Tommy,
in?
come on in.
Come on in, Tommy.
And Paige, thank you.
Paige is like, I'm out.
No, we can't let Paige get away so easy.
Yeah, we can't let her get away so easy.
Tommy, over here, Tom.
Tommy, come on.
You putting him there?
It'll be like 5 minutes.
He said he'll send us his written remarks. Okay.
Tommy, you're gonna get the stink eye.
But I don't want the attention to go away the effectiveness of the San Marcos Chamber, which is one of the chambers that I'm very, very honored to be a part of. And I agree with you 100%, Paige. What you've done with this chamber, come out into leadership, has been tremendous.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's been a breath of fresh air because I've seen a lot of transformation now and a lot of forward thinking.
Well, that's part of you too.
Yeah, but you can walk into organizations that have preset ideals that are wrong, right? And what I love about the timing of your entrance to the chamber was that you didn't have the narrative from before. You have a set of fresh eyes, because somebody who's been in and around this area for a long time might be a bit jaded. Right? Like, they're never going to do it. Yeah. San Marcos is never going to develop anything. They're anti-growth, blah, blah, blah. It's been that way for years. It's never going to change, blah, 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 blah. You have none of that. You don't need any of it. Nobody actually needs any of that. But they rebut on those ways because they're tired and they're worn down because they want to see something change. We can't do it. But that means that person is no longer equipped to put them in a position to make affect change. So sometimes you bring in a new coach. Right? Yes. And Paige is a hell of a coach. Oh. A hell of a coach.
Well, we have that in common, those fresh eyes. So, yeah, I can get that.
And Alfonso's the same. It's funny how it works, but it's great having somebody not live in San Marcos on the San Marcos Chamber Board because he's coming fresh eyes. I don't care. I can say what I want. I can leave.
Or not.
I gotta drive back home tonight by myself. No big deal.
But also just the regional connections that you bring.
Yes.
So important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we're not an island. We all count on each other. Our residents work at our employers and vice versa.
Yeah. And for everybody else that's watching, and this is long, I don't know if anybody's going to watch this at all, but anyway. Everybody needs to understand that I call Liz, and Liz calls Alfonso, and Alfonso calls Paige, and Paige calls me back, and I call Tommy, and you've got a network. You got a network of people that literally are putting in the work. They're talking to each other. We're okay talking to each other. We have a good group of individuals, and I guess what this is really about is the invite for everybody else who wants to be part of something really cool, now's the time to do it.
Yes, you mentioned a magic wand and a wish
Yeah.
before. I didn't
Yes.
get to answer that.
Excuse me, I got off track.
If I had a magic wand and could make something happen, I would want everybody in the community to have that desire to carve out some time out of their week or their month to take a look around. We do make these opportunities available. There'll be tours at the school, tours at the hospital, at Texas State, at various businesses that people can get first-hand knowledge and
That's
not
right.
go by what you read online or some old perception, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to kill perception. So that's what I would do with my magic wand.
I
would
love that.
Make everybody willing to take a little extra time. Put down your phone for a few hours. Come see something. And
It's that
spread the
physical
word.
Step out in real
investment
life.
into something.
And it's the
Yes.
monarch
Yes.
effect, right? All it takes is one little action, and it just
Yeah, because
ripples.
all you need is
Yes.
a little positivity,
Butterfly
man.
effect.
I can
Right.
sit back and talk about 30 things that are wrong and do nothing about it. And God, I'm tired. I'm tired. It's depressing. I'll give you a wonderful example, and I love this. It's one of the things I do in my own life with the chamber. We have ribbon cuttings. Now, I can't go to all the ribbon cuttings, but it's such a simple act. It's so simple. There's nothing hard about driving to a ribbon cutting. But you go to a ribbon cutting, you're like, that's what people say, what does the chamber do? It's like, that's what we do. Go out there,
Well, we're
celebrating
a major day in the life of a business.
And you know
that
what?
day is huge to them. We do.
Oh my God, it's so
8
cool.
a month. That day is formative in there. It's a major milestone.
And then-
so to be part of it is an honor.
It is.
honestly.
And your cup could be half full, a quarter full, but you go to that one thing and you clap and everybody yells and you're like, how cool is that? And then you drive away and you go, now you've affected change in your own life.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're just not making little notches towards.
And see, I challenge you even go beyond that. It's not enough to just be a participant. Go in there and meet them. That's right. Introduce yourself. Hear their
Yes.
life story. Hear their story, and
See who you can connect them with, who they
Exactly.
know, make those connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might even leave like, hey, I want to start my own business one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. It inspires.
It inspires
More-
entrepreneurship,
more
all of
people.
it.
And
yeah.
a lot of people, I've realized that in this walk of life, and this is kind of, high level, but there are people that are willing to share, right? They just need an ear.
Yeah.
And sometimes if we just, to be blunt, just shut up and just listen to people, you learn a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key is be willing to listen to somebody's story and show that interest, and you'd be surprised. So
Yeah. I run my own business, and people have asked me before, they say, hey, how do you run your business? How are you good at it? And any business, you've heard this a million times, you're in the people business, but it's what you just said right there. Like, I actually take the time to look at somebody in their eyes, talk to them, meet them, have a substantial conversation with them. In fact, I avoid just topical, fickle conversation in and around the rooms. I really don't like to talk to people unless I have an opportunity to meet them. It's just it's kind of like this show that you put on. So that's across the board. You do that at your ribbon cuttings, you do that in your board meetings, you do it in business, you do it in the school system. But every time you talk to somebody, just look at somebody and say, you know what, let's do something cool together.
Yeah.
Meet them.
Be authentic.
Be authentic.
In a world of AI.
In a
That's
world.
a big strength.
Yeah.
And you have it, sir.
and in this chamber, I think that's a cool place to be, right?
Yeah.
Liz? This is, I think this is a great organization, James. So
Would
maybe
you all
we'll make
be
you a member.
Come on again? Would you all come on the podcast again?
Never. Nope. I'm done. I'm
Well,
kidding. I'm kidding.
you all have the invite to actually, use this platform a little. You got something you want to talk about, and we want to kind of get the word out. If we're able to do these once a month, well, we actually have some video that gets put online, and it's just another way I think that we can use it to affect the change, right?
Certainly.
Yeah. So I was explaining to that guy over there, Brian.
Tommy?
Randy
yeah.
Brennan.
Brandon?
Yeah, there you go, Randy. So we're going to have these once a month, planning on it. And so they're going to be a part of the Dark Side of the Mic network on YouTube. So it's not going to be a part of, this is the I.r.o.n podcast #1. And so look out for these monthly at the beginning of the month. How you can help your community. And, yeah.
Well, we really appreciate all the time that you
For
put
sure,
in.
for sure.
Obviously,
Thank you for the invite, guys.
So if
Thank
anybody's
you.
interested in being part of this I.r.o.n group, just please reach out, and
yeah.
we're getting organized.
Do they have to get jumped in or anything?
No.
No.
What are the requirements? What's eligibility? Like what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a case by case kind of membership.
5'2". 5'2".
They're hazing.
No, but we don't want people to think that this group is just a men's cigar group. It is not. Everybody is welcome to come in and come watch and just be part of that change. I think that's super important for people. Let's go get together with a bunch of the boys. Nah, it's not like that. You don't have to smoke a cigar. Just put one in your mouth and make it look like you're smoking, and you're good to go.
Well, to me, I think the important thing is that we bring the issues up
and
have a safe place to discuss them, and then
see where it goes.
Plan, see it and find an action item to work on. I think that's the whole key, because we can sit around and and talk about it all day long, but I think taking it to the next step. So
I think that's it. We're gonna call it.
Yeah.
You want to call
Can
it?
I say one last thing?
Yes,
sure
please.
Can.
So, obviously I had stepped away from the chamber for a few years, and it's been such a great experience coming back to new blood, not just with Paige on board, but also with new board members. It's so refreshing to see like the board members really be invested in what the chamber is doing, that it's not just a title, that you're really in for the change and want to see the chamber grow, not just the chamber, but the community that it's in. And so thank you all for being board members and for being really in it for the right reasons. And I look forward to seeing what's to come. So.
Well, thank you for making it an organization to
Here,
be
here.
part of.
Thank you, Paige.
Good words. Thank you.
guys.
Thanks for putting in the time. Thanks for everything.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next one.
All right.
On to the next one.
All right.